said earlier, Ginger, was it got immediately pulled. And if a hacker puts something on there, they're leaving it up for as many people to see. The only reason you pull it very quickly is it's a fucking oops, I didn't mean to do that. Or you want the world to think it's an oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Well, because you're consistently signed into Snapchat. So what could have possibly happened is if somebody did hack into it, she's getting all these notifications immediately, goes in and immediately deletes it.
Okay, let's also not forget when you're dealing with people of celebrity nature who post a ton to social media, they often give their passwords to other people to post on their behalf. So it may very well be somebody that works for her that she pissed off that had this fucking access to her phone and went, all right, fuck it.
It could also be her social media person's fucking penis or vagina, and they actually posted their own shit when they were supposed to be posting other things.
Okay, but again, that all goes into my thing that it wasn't a fucking hack.
Yeah, I don't know that I can debate that it is or isn't a hack because I don't know nor care. I to me just feel that it's not her vagina. That's not her own shit.
Although I will say the voice sounded like her to me, but
it's a moan.
It sounded like her.
Yeah.
She sounds like everybody from fucking California.
Well, it sounded like her with her fake, sort of half-fake accent thing, like the tenor and tone of her voice. I don't know. It did to me, at least.
Why is my camera being fucking dumb?
The fuck is Sal?
Fucking.
He's watching that video on repeat.
So during that third period, Ginger, how much shit did you throw at your TV? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my god. I literally... I was so fucking mad. Like, once they got that power play, and I was like, they're gonna fucking score, and it's gonna light the crowd right back up. And sure enough, 15 fucking seconds into the penalty, they score. And I'm like, they are gonna fucking blow this. I know it. So I'm literally standing, and my wife's sitting on the couch with her daughter, and I'm just like, they're gonna fucking blow it. They're gonna fucking blow it. And when they finally got the empty netter, I went, fuck yeah. And she just started fucking laughing at me like, you're fucking crazy. I was like, I'm not that crazy compared to other people. Like, especially like football people and shit. Whew.
Well, when you have to score 6 goals to overcome fucking Tuukka Rask, you know.
Jesus, I can't fucking stand him, man. He's gotta go.
I don't know why he's even starting right now, to be honest with you.
I'm honestly surprised that they have not played Halak yet. Shocked.
Had they blown that game, I think it was coming. So
I'm surprised he didn't after they blew the second game.
Oh.
Just like, man, what are you guys doing? Alright. Uno momento, I'll be right back.
Still waiting on sale anyway.
I'm still getting everything shared over and everything like that too, so.
What are you sharing over? Oh, the
live feed.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. Are you in there yet or no?
In where?
On the YouTube.
Oh, no, I didn't know it was up yet.
It's up. So someone else is in there with me. I'm not sure who.
Can't you see?
No.
No, not me. I wasn't there yet. I'll go there now.
Well, Sal is texting us about stuff, so.
Yeah, fucking dude. Urgh.
Yes.
Alright, pop out the chat.
It sounded like you were going to say something and then you didn't.
No, it's like fucking respond to the where the fuck are you?
Mm-hmm.
Not the only Lorcan shit.
Okay. So, goddamn, Tenara Kanji. Today's matchup is up, so.
Yeah, I'll post a picture in the morning. So, based on what we had for votes, I'm almost wondering, because the last two, obviously it's based on the most votes goes to the one that came out first. And then when we posted all four were up, we got a consistent, pretty much, basically someone who's going there is voting for every listing.
Yeah.
So I'm almost wondering if we're better off posting all of them at once and just reposting every day.
That's up to you.
I don't know. I guess let's not fix what's not broken, I guess. It's working out. Don't mind me. Alright, Facebook. That's what I was looking for.
Now, does this work?
Oh, what the fuck is up with my camera? But it's pissing me the fuck off.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Jason!
Up.
What up? Oh my god!
What?
Is that hot sauce Troy Bozen?
It is.
Wow!
Hot
Live
sauce.
in living color.
So you can now, right at this moment, go to rundownwrestling.com and watch us live on YouTube through the embed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyone who's going to the website right now will see that right on the top. So, but for right now, I'm going to let Tenara Kanchi's ass show on the screen. Where'd you go? There you go.
Well, then let me change the link in my Facebook post to send people to our site.
Instead of YouTube.
Yes.
We got 28 views for the last one. So, but I didn't have it embedded up on the website. So.
There we go. Ginger, what's wrong?
Oh, my fucking... I don't understand the whole issue with the fucking camera.
What's going on? What's it doing?
It won't fucking... can you see me right now?
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem.
So, are you on Skype right now?
Yes.
What's on your screen?
I have you three.
Okay. Next to the...
But top right is just a black screen.
Okay, at the top left, well, first off, there should be a gear.
Yep.
All right, it's not the one I'm looking for. Never mind. So at the top left, you'll have a hamburger menu. It's like 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hit that.
Yep.
Then there'll be 3 dots at the top.
Yep.
Go into settings.
Yep.
Audio and video.
Yep.
Camera should be the first thing on there.
Yep.
Is the right camera selected?
Integrated webcam, yeah. It's the
Okay.
only one that I have access to.
Is it showing anything on the preview window?
Nope. I'm gonna go into my computer settings. I have 1 minute to figure this out, and then we can start, because I don't really give a shit.
Is your finger over the camera?
No.
I'd offer to remote into your machine and try to fix it, but I'm afraid of what else I would find on that thing.
Well, it's my wife's. Like, this is literally the only thing I use it for.
Let me help you log in on that one then.
Okay, so I just tried to open the camera and it said something went wrong, so I think the camera on the fucking computer shit the bed. Boo.
Possibility.
That's awful.
Might need a driver update.
Updates.
Actually, that's a good. Speaking of what we were sort of discussing last night when you guys weren't on, Ginger, how would your wife feel about coming on the podcast to discuss hot guys?
Oh, this guy. I could ask her. She'd probably be uncomfortable, but I can force her to do it.
Okay. Sounds like you're wedding cake, but that's okay.
Oh. No, she was all with it. I drugged her, obviously. She couldn't say no.
You know we're live on YouTube, right? Just so
Yeah,
you
I
know.
don't care. Hey, she married me.
This has been Ginger Confesses to Date Rape. All right.
Not date rape if you're married.
Whoa.
Pretty sure legally that's not true.
Let's not go there.
Oh, that's the
Jesus Christ.
That
that's
is
the
one-
fucking issue. I didn't restart the
100%
computer
incorrect.
after it updated.
Okay, so drop the call, and then restart your computer, and then come back in,
Yeah.
and then we'll do this. Bye. Every time someone leaves, I have to move myself.
Sal, that whole I yelled surprise thing, that's just a gimmick. That's not
I
like
know. I'm fucking around. Relax. I'm on a lot of fucking meds tonight. I fucking woke up feeling like shit, but I'm gonna power through.
And we're down to just me on YouTube.
Why?
Because you guys were talking about rape and somebody left.
yeah. Way to go, Sal.
Oh yeah, blame me because you guys don't talk about rape.
Oh, I see that. It's that familiar shower curtain. All right, there we go.
Well, I'm on my phone just for the time being.
There is not an easy way to get this going.
Fucking A.
I so desperately want the Nets to win this fucking game.
What's the score?
Fuck. 72-64.
Sixers? Yeah, fuck that.
Just to the 3. It was a 5-point game before that.
Fucking A.
I feel like the only downside to being live on YouTube is that we can't put porn on in the windows anymore. It sort of screws up the whole
Have you
vibe.
seen what Troy's put on there in the past couple weeks?
On YouTube?
Well, it was Paige, but it was ugly Paige. It wasn't porn Paige.
Well, that was me first.
Oh, that
off.
was you. All right, whatever.
Second off, that was something that was live on WWE television for a month straight. So, yeah. You really are fucking high tonight, aren't you, Sal? All right.
Yeah, the only thing I put up is our faces.
It's going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. There was no zucchinis involved, sir.
Come on.
I think that might have been
Well,
just Troy and Jeff. Were you there for that one, Sal? Or was that just Troy and Jeff? I don't remember.
I thought it was you and I thought it was Troy and Adam.
No, it was definitely Troy and Jeff.
Uh,
I don't know if there was a third. All right, now it's back to 5. Oh, god damn it.
Smathers checking in already. He's got 2 monitors, so he gets to watch porn and listen to my sweet, sweet voice.
Well, that's awfully nice of him.
Yeah. Smathers is one of our OG fans.
I figured as much. Since he comes on like every week. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. We appreciate it.
Well, some of us do.
I'm gonna cover up. There. I'm gonna cover up Jason's Jägermeister poster so we don't get sued.
What, you think that... What, you think they're gonna, like, give a shit?
yeah, trust
Free
me.
ad-
No
free
one give
advertising.
a shit.
I gotta put.
Not
my
even-
somewhere.
Listen, I'm recording in my bar. It is what it is, man.
It won't let me do where it like does this the 4 of us. I've always got to be the little pop
Fuck.
up thing.
If I were you, I would cover up the Dolphins thing, because that's far more embarrassing.
Yeah, they tend to have the Patriots number, so
Last year, they did not. Usually the only number they have is a high number in the draft, because they suck every year. But They also managed to fuck up those draft picks. So,
Yay, football.
Hey, the Bruins won last night.
So since Smathers decided to share that he's watching porn, do we want to take a guess as to what kind of porn Smathers is watching at the moment?
Ooh, I'm saying pegging midgets.
There's definitely a teen porn involved. It's Smathers.
Definitely what?
Never mind.
I didn't hear what you said.
He said teen porn.
Oh.
Smathers, I love you, even though you told me to get off the show last week.
Well, I'm pretty sure now he's going to tell you to fuck yourself, but...
Wouldn't be the first time.
The first time Smathers told you to fuck yourself, wouldn't be the first time you fucked yourself.
Wouldn't be the first time Smathers told me to fuck myself.
Okay.
Ew.
Fuck.
Are we still working on something, or are we ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go, I mean, I can just, like, if need be, pop in and out. But it's, like, being fucking dumb. It's almost there, but all of a sudden it's running this Nero program and all this shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, come on. Yeah, man. Okay, yep. Okay, that's fine. It really sucks when your task manager is not responding. Oh, man.
Shrink back down, dick.
Oh my fucking god, dude. What the fuck is this fucking thing doing?
Ginger took his glasses off. Shit's getting serious.
I'm about to start getting show angry.
Oh, you wouldn't like him when he's show angry. Are you gonna get Derek Mitchell angry?
I wasn't the last show. I don't know if you caught. Oh no, you weren't at the last show.
I wasn't there. I missed it.
No, I don't want this fucking oven.
Smathers says it's okay, Taz. You still have one of his favorite theme songs.
It's true.
How many people actually understand that joke?
Well, people watching on YouTube
I was
right now.
gonna say anybody who's ever watched this on YouTube. Also, there was a gimmick for a little while where it was because I was getting angry all the time, but that's something Adam used to run with.
Sounds like an Adam joke. All right. All right. Control room is looking good.
Well, apparently my fucking webcam has decided to shit the bed, so... What a douche nozzle.
So I guess it's just 3 videos today.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It just means we can start.
I mean, you can just go back to the phone. That was working fine too.
I only got like 40% battery, so just go.
Alright.
right, Gladiators ready?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm good.
Ready.
Try something. Wonder if I can do this. Hold on. Go ahead. I'm gonna work around it.
Everyone who is recording is recording.
Yeah.
No. Do you need me to record on Audacity?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope. All right, we've got me and Jason. It should be fine.
cool.
And we've got the YouTubes. All right. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, unintentionally offensive podcast. Today, I'm here, your host, Troy. With me, as always, in this journey, Jason is here.
It's a pleasure to be here on another Thursday night chatting with you, Hot Sauce, and let's roll.
But joining us this week, we have 2 special guests. The first one, Ginger is here.
Hey, what's up, cheese bags? How's it going?
I feel like that's the least offensive thing you've called the listener so far.
I'm feeling generous this week.
Okay.
And the last leg in our dude share, Sal is here.
It's Taz!
What's up, Rundown? You ready for an experience?
Apparently. We have
So if anybody was watching the pre-show, that's the last phrase you should have used, Sal. I'm just saying.
I wasn't here on time. Shocking, I was late.
I was more referring to what you said when you got here, but okay.
all right. We have a lot of shit to get through. It was the Superstar Shakeup in WWE, which we're going to be extensively talking about, and we've got a couple other things from ROH and other topics. But first, it's
John Venrick showed up too, so we got another.
hey, John.
Yeah.
So, we have some beautiful women to talk about.
Oh, but I'm sorry, but before we do that, should I intro the gimmick there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. For those of you following us on YouTube or on the YouTube site, thanks to rundownwrestling.com, which we encourage you to watch from there because it helps us out. If you go to that screen, you'll see a little chat window on the right-hand side through the YouTube page and not through the Rundown page. Click on that, throw your name in, take your pants off, tell us what you thought about the Superstar Shakeup. We call it the Smathers Lounge. You can call it whatever playground you want to. Your pants are off, you get to name it. But let us know what you think, and we will read it on the show. Big shout-outs to the man himself, Mike Smathers in the house, as well as John Venrick. Not John, but John Venrick. Nice to have you guys in the place. Thanks.
All right. Like I was saying, we had a huge week, a record-breaking week in the hottest female talent tournament, because this week we had just 4 matchups, and we had a grand total of 4,148 votes cast this week.
God damn. Thank you all. Seriously.
Thank you so
Fuck
much.
yeah.
We had more votes cast in these 4 matchups than the entirety of our first round tournament. The entirety of the first round. So, let's get right into it because, yeah, we got some winners to crown and some losers to jerk off to. So, we started things off
Now, the winners here will be the first ones to move on to the Erotic 8, just so we know.
That is correct, yep. 4 of these women heading on to the Erotic 8. 4 of these women definitely going to have a charity wank to, a farewell jerk off to. So get your dicks out because our first matchup was Carmella versus Zelina Vega. And
this was the highest voted total matchup of the week as well.
this was not only, yes, this was the highest total votes of the week, also the highest total votes ever in our tournament history, with a whopping 1,189 votes cast between these two ladies. But before we reveal who won, let's go ahead and pick who we would have decided would go on. And me, it's Zelina Vega. Jason?
I'm going to agree with Hot Sauce. It's Zelina Vega on that one.
It's not a thing. You're not going to be able to make it a thing. Sal?
It is Zelina Vega for me.
All right. And Ginger?
Zelina Vega.
This was our closest matchup of the week.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
633 votes to 556, with 53% of the votes moving on to the Erotic 8, Zelina Vega.
Wow, there it is.
So, that took us to Friday's total. Tony Storm versus Zaya Brookside. And this one had a grand total of 1,065 votes cast in it. And for me, Zaya Brookside would get the vote.
Hmm.
Sal.
Look, Zaya's a very beautiful girl, but it's Tony Storm all the way.
Ginger.
I went for the thicker booty on this one, so I went Zaya. In my opinion,
wait,
it could have been
I
the
don't know
pictures.
if
It
that's
could have been
true.
the pictures. It could have been the pictures. But either way, I went with Zaya.
Jason.
This was one of the toughest matchups for me because they both have qualities over the other one that I would have voted for. Overall, full package, everything, dicks on the table. I went with Tony Storm on that one.
There it is.
All right.
My preview keeps freezing. Sorry,
Seven,
Ted.
756 votes to 309. 71% of the votes. Tony Storm moves on.
Dominant.
I mean, there's not a loser here.
No, it made me a little sad though. I definitely there was some liquid coming on my dick, at the very least.
You said 760 for Tony Storm?
756. Yep.
Oh, 750. Jesus Christ.
So voting for her, clicking that button is called the Storm Zero, right?
Everything's a Storm Zero.
Everything's a Storm Zero.
Tony Storm wakes up in the morning, and she hits the Storm Zero on her alarm clock to shut it off. Then she goes downstairs and hits the Storm Zero on her blender to make her morning shake.
I'm pretty sure she hits the Storm Zero on her clit before she gets out of bed.
Yeah.
That's possible too.
Hence the video.
That's right.
Exactly.
So that took us to Saturday's matchup, where Alexa Bliss took on Killer Kelly.
Wah, wah.
Wait, hold on 1 second before we proceed. Alexa Bliss takes on Killer Kelly, and did you just say the previous matchup was the most lopsided margin of victory?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you said. Okay, never mind.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay, I thought that's what you said.
No, our first matchup was the closest. Our second matchup was just a matchup. This
Okay.
matchup was the most lopsided.
Oh, okay.
Ah, there
Yeah,
it
is that
is.
what-
Now, I know we don't have to go through the round table of who we voted for. We all voted for Alexa Bliss. So we have a brand new top vote getter.
I'm guessing it's not Killer Kelly.
123 votes
Oh, no.
to 863.
Jesus Christ.
Alexa Bliss
Killer
moves
Kelly's
on.
moving on.
Alexa Bliss moves on and is our new champion of the votes.
Hey,
Good
Killer
job.
Kelly got triple digits against Alexa Bliss. Good on her.
Can I just say, I do have to say, like we've mentioned this before. These were not seeded; they were totally at random draws. But man, you got to feel like just amazingly hot women like Carmella. I assume whomever wins the next matchup we're going to talk about should be in the Erotic 8, but one of them won't be. And Killer Kelly made it to this point. It's a travesty the way that shook out. But
Dude, Lana was eliminated in the first round.
no, dude.
Yeah.
Talk about randomness. I mean, just the way it fell.
I know. Look at the women who were eliminated before Killer Kelly. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Killer Kelly beat Ruby Riott in the second round.
Not a surprise.
and Bianca Belair.
No, but
in the
not a
first
challenge
round.
either, really.
A surprise.
So yeah, she
Sorry, who did she beat in the first round?
Bianca Belair.
That's not possible.
Nope.
Because
So
she is on
Don't do it, you jerk.
the
we have another.
feed.
So that took us to our
Dead.
last matchup of this week, as Becky Lynch took on Mandy Rose,
Uh-oh.
and this one was almost as close as Vega and Carmelo.
So, full disclosure, I have no idea what the vote totals are. Troy's the only one that knows those going into this. By virtue of being signed into the website app on my iPad, I get notifications when a vote is cast.
Uh-oh.
Obviously, I don't keep track of those votes. But judging by the notifications and who was getting votes, I have a pretty strong idea of which way this one went. And I'm not going to have the reaction that Troy thinks he's going to get out of me. I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Remember, he said he's not going to have the reaction. Go ahead, sorry.
Troy's not going to mute me this week because he does not want to edit this bitch. Go ahead.
908 votes cast in this one, by a vote of 503 to 405. Mandy Rose is eliminated. Becky Lynch.
Wow.
55%.
Yeah, fuck you all. I quit.
All right.
Oh, see, he said he wasn't going to have that reaction.
Well, at least he's not screaming, yelling. See, that's such a close, beauty between both of them. And it's sad that one of them had to go, but, I mean, I don't think Mandy should have been gone on this one, in my opinion.
Look,
See,
Becky's done modeling way before she was even a wrestler, so...
See, here's the problem with this is that, and I guess it's not a problem. Everyone's free to sort of vote based on whatever they want.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think most people are voting based on Becky's current popularity.
Yep.
Just looking at who is physically hotter.
Maybe most people. For me, I pick Becky, but...
Well, fuck you. You're wrong. So let's move on.
That's fine.
You got to remember, I mean, it's 900 votes. You know, this, it wasn't like it was a couple of people got on there and threw their votes one way to try to upset Jason or that. This was, yeah, I mean, this, obviously, we try to set it up as whoever is hotter, but it's going to be a popularity contest. Now, Killer Kelly making it this far was kind of a surprise because she is a lesser known person. So people were definitely, I think, choosing based on the pictures. The matchups helped too.
I feel like short of Alexa, had Mandy faced anybody else this week, she would be moving on. So,
Well, so Carmella got more votes than both Mandy Rose and Becky Lynch this week.
yeah, but that was, again, we talked about that. That was the first matchup. That matchup got about 400 more votes than the last matchup, which was Mandy and Becky. So the extra 3 days of voting contributed to that.
So our top 5 vote getters, all from this week: Alexa Bliss 863, Toni Storm 756, Zelina Vega 633, Carmella eliminated 556, Becky Lynch 503. So that.
From what I get from that is that Carmella should just take take Becky Lynch's spot.
I don't think it works that way.
Oh, well, we could randomly decide we're going to kick Kavita Devi out and fucking replace her in the first round.
She had no pictures.
It didn't matter either way, man. Charlotte still won. Kavita
I'm
wasn't
just
going to
saying.
take that win. Anyways, so you can go right now to runonwrestling.com and vote for this week's matchup. The first matchup this week, Taynara Conti versus Paige. So head on over there right now. You guys listening on YouTube, head on over there as well. Cast your votes. And then come back again tomorrow night for Liv Morgan versus Natalya. And as long as Liv Morgan wins that one, we will have more matchups after that, because otherwise I will shut this thing down.
Oh, wait a second. We're fine with Mandy being eliminated, but we can't have Liv Morgan eliminated? Seriously.
Well, Troy runs the ship here, so...
No, Troy co-runs the ship here.
Sorry.
If Liv Morgan got eliminated against Taynara Conti, I would be fine with that. That's a hot chick going on. Natalya is not a hot chick. Natalya
To you.
does not deserve to be.
To you.
Anyways, that takes us over to Saturday, where we will have Billy.
Okay, so hypothetically, just for the sake of argument, amongst our 4 hosts, and actually I shouldn't say 4, because Troy, I already know which way you're going on this. Sal, Natalya, or Killer Kelly?
I don't like Natalya's face, dude. At all.
Have you seen Killer Kelly's face?
It's better than Natalya's.
Okay. Ginger, Killer Kelly or Natalya?
Toughy. I'd probably go Natalya. She's got like a little cuter face. Slightly.
I would also go Natalya. So there you go. Now you got split right down the middle. So this is the point. Just because you don't understand why someone would vote for her doesn't mean there's not a reason.
I noticed that you didn't ask everyone if they would pick Liv Morgan or Natalya.
Well,
Well, that's damn obvious.
Everybody in this thing has expressed their love for Liv Morgan. There's no
That's all I'm
fucking
saying.
surprise here.
That's all I'm saying. There's no reason why she shouldn't curb stomp Natalya.
No, your point was Natalya doesn't deserve to be here, and she got here because she beat other people. In the same way, I can say Becky doesn't deserve to beat Mandy Rose, but people preferred it that way, so fuck it. That's the way it went.
Come back Saturday to the Rundown Wrestling or to rundownwrestling.com and see Billy Kay versus Kairi Sane.
Bye, Kyrie.
And then our last matchup of the Sweet Sassy Molassy 16, Nikki
The
Cross.
Sexy 16.
Sorry, Sexy 16, Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce.
Ugh.
So, join us next week, and we will see who will join Zelina Vega, Toni Storm, Alexa Bliss, and Becky Lynch in the
And Liv Morgan and Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Peyton Royce, you're kind of better off that Mandy didn't move on, because that was going to be her next matchup.
I would have been fine with that. Although I am interested to see Peyton Royce and Becky Lynch, how that voting goes.
And we will, maybe. So,
No, we probably will.
And Natalya versus Taynara Conti is going to be an interesting one, too.
So, and our easiest segue of the night, we go from talking about perfect tens to, and we had, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to fuck up Jason's shit. Because as soon as we talk about the Superstar Shakeup, we're going to want to keep talking about it. So we're going to start by talking about New Japan and the G1 Supercard. Now, New Japan and ROH held a joint pay-per-view, the G1 Supercard, which had matches from each side of the organizations. And anybody watching could definitely tell there was a very different level of a very New Japan put on a better show, and ROH was kind of the fucking anchor around their leg, dragging the rest of the show down. So it came out that some people in New Japan were a little unhappy with the Ring of Honor portion of the G1 Supercard. Now, if you guys are, go ahead.
So looking down the card, I assume we're probably like, I don't imagine there were any issues with Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb, because that was a fantastic match, and of course it is half of a New Japan representation. I guess theoretically all New Japan, now that Jeff Cobb won the match and is the never openweight champion. But the matches we're talking about specifically, I'm assuming, would be the Ring of Honor ones: Killer Kelly versus Miya Iwatani.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one?
Kelly Klein.
Yeah,
What did I say?
You said Killer
Killer
Kelly.
Kelly.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly Klein. Yeah, same time. No. What was the other one I was thinking? The Dalton Castle versus Roosh, which was literally a squash. It was 2 drop kicks and a pin, and then Dalton Castle beat up the boys. And then the ladder match, I think those were the only direct Ring of Honor.
The Briscoes tag match, right?
Yeah, but that was Guerrillas of Destiny.
Oh, that's right.
So there was New Japan representation in that match. Although, again, New Japan's sitting there looking at that match, and they're looking at PCO at this point. Like, that's doing the fucking bogus electric chair presentation on his intro. It's just, The presentation's very hokey for a New Japan crowd.
Well,
it was not the pre-match that got the New Japan office upset.
No, it was also Enzo and Kaz XL showing.
Yeah, the post-match is what I think more people had an issue with.
Because the
and let's not forget the beautiful people.
Yes, the beautiful people also stomped.
Or the Allure.
Yeah, stomping the shit out of the new Women of Honor champion. So, this is the thing, is New Japan, when they put on events, they prefer it that the news be how awesome the event was, or the news be a title change or something like that. What they don't want is the news to be, hey, Enzo and Cash showed up at the end of G1 Classic, and that to be the only thing anyone talks about. So
yeah, and for the record, the IWGP Championship changed hands at this show, and it was almost an afterthought.
Right, and that's the biggest issue is that they were having was the rhetoric afterwards was not the way they wanted it to be, and the match quality wasn't where it wanted to be on about half of the matches that ROH put on. So you're talking about you're putting eyes on ROH that aren't always on there because you've got the New Japan fans in there. And you got the ROH fans who haven't watched New Japan, who are seeing it for the first time. Those ROH fans got to see great fucking matches, and the New Japan fans got to watch 3 women who can't wrestle beat the crap out of someone who barely wrestled her way through a match. So,
all right. So first off, full disclosure, and I don't say this as a bragging thing, but because my opinions might be different and based on, I have friends that work in Ring of Honor. Some people who are even higher up on the card. But it's hard to look at sort of where Ring of Honor was this time last year versus where they are now. This time last year, they had, at the same, it was the WrestleMania weekend event, I believe, they had built that whole Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega thing to a giant climax, and they had that match there, and a card that was stacked with great in-ring performances. And then you look at this, and I think it's not necessarily fair to go super hard at Ring of Honor for what they're dealing with now, because Kenny and the Bucks and Cody and Hangman, all those guys leaving was just a complete monkey wrench, a complete gut punch to that company. I don't think they're in full rebuild mode. And we had Brian Malonis on the show not long ago doing a preview for us, and even he said it's going to create opportunities, it's going to open up new chances, and they're trying new things. Not every new thing that they try is going to be a fucking home run. They certainly made some mistakes, and I think the outrage over Enzo and Cass and the fact that they haven't used them at their TV tapings, haven't made any reference to bringing them back since, sort of indicates that it wasn't necessarily a hit with the backstage crew either. I do think you can make something out of the Allure group. I think there is something there. Still, I mean, Angelina Love was never a bad wrestler. Velvet's not the best wrestler in the world. By the way, Bully Ray supposedly has gained a lot of power through this, and if you think that means Velvet Sky is getting less time, you're fucking nuts. I'm a fan of Mandy Leon, not having anything to do with her in-ring performances, but you got to try new things sometimes. You got to mix things up. It's not necessarily always going to be the same Ring of Honor product, and for a lot of these Ring of Honor fans who are complaining about it, they'd be just as happy watching Hot Sauce Tracy Williams take on Zack Sabre Jr. in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Troy, how would you like that? That's great audio, my man.
No.
All right. So that's my point. Again, as we talked about with the tournament we were doing earlier, it's sort of to each their own. There are different people that prefer, but for the Ring of Honor crowd, they're used to getting something very specific in their product, and now they're getting something different, and it's going to be an adjustment. That's all.
It's not something that Ring of Honor hasn't dealt with before. We've seen mass exoduses from the company many times when everybody got signed up by NXT at one point. I think at one point you had Kevin Owens, Well, no, not even Kevin Owens.
Owens was already out of the company.
We'll go forward a little bit. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. They all left at once. And the other thing too is, look, I'm sorry.
At that time they left, they had ready-made guys on brand like Jay Lethal, Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks to slide in and take those spots.
Now that being said, New Japan kind of has no one but themselves to blame, because if it's somebody else against Okada in that main event, then everybody's talking about that match. And I'm sorry, but the minute Jay White got that title, we knew he was just a placeholder for Okada.
See, I think changing that title was a mistake personally, but that's another discussion. Who else is going to be a challenger for Okada?
Ibushi.
Huh?
Ibushi.
They just put the Intercontinental title on him.
No, dude. I know, because that's the direction they decide to go in. But you could have built that. But
right, and that may be very well where they end up going for next Wrestle Kingdom. That wouldn't shock me at all. But the point is, for the next year, you'd have, for my money, you'd have been a lot better off building Jay White, because basically by taking that title off of Jay White this quickly, you made him a non-factor going forward.
Exactly.
He was a fluke. So if you hold off on making that title change and build Jay White up, he's never going to be Kenny Omega, but he is getting better. His performances have been better.
Oh, I agree with that.
And if you continue to build him up, and then you can make that match with Okada something really fucking special down the road, I think you're going to be in a lot better shape. So I wasn't a fan of that as it was.
Yeah. But outside of the Enzo and Cass thing, I really didn't have that much of a problem with ROH. Mandy Leon's gimmick kind of fits right in to where, Angelina Love and Velvet Sky were 10 years ago.
And that was a direct replacement. Mandy Leon took the spot of Madison Rayne when she left the company. The plan was originally to reunite the three beautiful people together.
And I might be a little bit biased, but I enjoyed the ladder match with Lethal and Skrull and Taven. So, to me, I enjoyed the card, but I can understand New Japan. Look, everybody was talking about Enzo and Cass, and they're not going to get the most positive reactions when you pull a stunt like that.
Well, the other thing, too, is, we've talked about it on the show in the past, too, that Ring of Honor's just general disinterest in making the Women of Honor a actual division
100%.
Hurts as well, because women over in Japan are taken very seriously. And when your champion is an okay worker, when there are plenty of really good, talented people who are not signed to WWE, and then you proceed to have the beautiful people who are the divas of old, like the like more just the pretty faces, can't really do much in ring. That becomes an issue, and it's a continued. They yet again had somebody that they put the belt on, that had it for a little bit of time, and then they took it right back off of her and put it on someone else. And they're not building anybody up. They're not having anyone be dominant, and they haven't even bothered to turn around and sign any of the available women right now that would be a big boost to their roster. They had Tenille in there. They did nothing with her. And I know she's gone now, but you did nothing with her. Even when she was back from injury. So you got to look at it that way too. Is that New Japan's going to sit there and be like, you have an entire division, and you got nothing.
I mean, I'm not sure New Japan gives a shit about the women's division, to be completely honest, given that they don't really have one.
They don't have one.
But that's more because of the fact that Stardom and things like that are a huge deal.
There's other companies that have them. I get it.
The bigger concern for me of Ring of Honor is not necessarily the fans being critical, because the fans will come back. If I'm Ring of Honor, the thing that concerns me is the fact that New Japan is disappointed, because right now the biggest thing Ring of Honor has going for them is that partnership with New Japan. And there's this shiny new toy over there that has all of the guys New Japan likes so much ready-made and ready to go if and when New Japan decides to end their partnership with Ring of Honor and look for another partner within the United States. Mm-hmm. And we've talked at length about ways that AEW could be a contender to challenge stateside for the mantle. They could make moves towards WWE. a partnership with New Japan and bringing in some of that talent as well would go a long, long fucking way.
Well, and again, you look at none of the matches that Ring of Honor put on this card were built to at all. They just
Well, the
were
ladder
announced.
match was.
The ladder match is the only one that had any kind of
Kelly Klein's was too. I mean, the previous event they wrestled each other, so I mean they did a little storyline to that too.
The previous event, though, you have a weekly TV show. Use it.
Their TV show has never been used that way, and I agree with you. It should be, but it's not. It never has been.
But
They have to be able to get Zack Sabre Jr. on there every week.
Yeah. And not even mention the matches. So anybody who's watching the TV program is just like, all right, well, what are the matches? Like,
No, but they've always been able to survive in the past just on their pay-per-view.
yeah, but
Month to month.
But times they are changing, sir, and
That's
you
true.
have to adapt. And the first thing you need to do is actually build storylines through TV and go out and sign some women that actually can wrestle.
Yeah, and to your point, Sal, that they've been able to skate by for a long time on being the biggest indie company in the country, but that's about to fucking change.
That's true. But let me ask you this real quick. You don't think that relationship with New Japan and Cody and Kenny is kind of soured since they spurned them and left cut all their ties? with
Are
New
they
Japan?
thrilled about it? Probably not, but do you think they would love to have Kenny Omega back?
Yeah,
Okay.
that might be something down the road. I don't think initially, but we'll see.
I think that a lot is made about that. They didn't quit; they just didn't resign.
Right.
So that it was on the companies.
No,
that
and
they
they had wanted to work out an arrangement.
yeah.
New Japan chose to maintain their arrangement with Ring of Honor because Ring of Honor does not want an arrangement with AEW for part of the reason we talked about earlier. So basically, New Japan was put in a position of picking Ring of Honor or picking All Elite.
Yeah, which
They chose to maintain Ring of Honor.
Which at that
that
point
may change.
Which at that point was because All Elite was still just kind of an idea, and we hadn't really seen that they were going to have concrete plans. Well, now they got concrete plans, so now things can change. But yeah, right at the time they're like, well, we need to go with the more stability, and that is Ring of Honor, because we don't know what's going to happen to your thing. This could all fall apart in a second, So there was that aspect of it as well. But yeah, I mean, you got to remember that it's on the companies as well. You got to put a little blame on the companies for how things were booked, because these guys said, we're leaving, we're not resigning, and they're like, here's some titles, maybe you'll resign with us, and they're just like, no, we're not going to do it, dude. And then they built Ring of Honor built an entire show around the guys who were leaving in 2 days. And the entire time they're like, hey, we're leaving. We told you this.
To be fair, New Japan had Wrestle Kingdom built around those same guys.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. They did the same thing with Kenny.
They both did the same thing, and that needs to be put on the promotions themselves, because you could.
I mean, if those guys are only going to be there for X amount of days, let's get as much fucking pub and press out of them as we possibly can. WWE's not. I mean, we're sitting here being super critical of that, but WWE sort of did the same thing with Ambrose. How many final farewells did we see? And
they're
by
still
the way, yeah, there's another one coming up. So,
Hey, it's called ROI, return on investment.
All right, so that moves.
Hi guys.
Hey, Ginger, did you have something to say? You hadn't been jumping in at all, so I figured just.
No, that's fine. Just all the bullshit that happened with Enzo and Cass, that's all you heard about, and I don't blame NJPW for being fucking pissed. You know what I mean? It's they tried to work it as a shoot. It obviously fucking wasn't, because you didn't have security jumping on them as they're punching Bully Ray in the back of the head and stuff. After seeing the video, I was just like, that's a work. And everybody's like, oh, no, it's not. It's like, yes, dude, you're dumb if you think that's real, if they didn't have security on their asses immediately. But that's all. I mean, it's sad that that's the only part that I know about it. But, to your guys' point, that's why NJPW is not happy.
Right.
By the way, just a little segue before we go to the next one. Ric Flair claims that when he leapt the barricade at WrestleMania to go and grab the sledgehammer, that Shawn Michaels almost leaped out of his chair and super kicked him because he thought it was a fan attacking, just like that had happened to Bret Hart.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Again, it's from Ric Flair, so take it as you will, but
Hey,
I have a hard time envisioning that Ric Flair jumped the barricade.
Right, yeah. Sorry.
He crawled slowly over the guardrail.
Yeah. Ric Flair would probably look like one of those like sticky hands you used to flip on the window when it like slowly. All right. So that brings us to a little NXT news. Now, we sort of hit on this yesterday at NXT Revisited, but really didn't dig deep into it. For those people who don't know him, Dominik Dijakovic, is a wrestler from your guys' neck of the woods. And, well, you know, that's what he's billed from, even though he's not. So he has been sort of transitioning into a different character. And that character took a little bit of an odd step with his Twitter game. Because Dijakovic posted taking Donald Trump, Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, saying, "This continent has everything backwards. This is a diseased environment that breeds impurity. The streets are almost as filthy as the inhabitants. I would know. I have lived the majority of my life here. I owe it to myself and my family to purify this wasteland." He then deleted that tweet and deleted his Twitter. So that's a very, very slippery slope there. Once you start talking about purifying the nation and purifying things like that, yeah, not a great look for a big white dude.
Not a great look for a publicly traded company.
Exactly, yeah. Which, of course, is why it was up there for all of 30 minutes before somebody said, take that down, sir. And
it was still up. It was still up there longer than Lana's Snapchat. Just saying. So we had sort of seen an aspect of it on NXT, and on the NXT episode yesterday, it definitely seemed like there was maybe a line or two cut out of the promo that he did. But his promo was, of course, that he is Croatian, right? Croatian. No, it's maybe it is Croatian. I don't remember.
I think he's part Yugoslavian, isn't he?
No.
Yeah, but he might be, but they don't call him that. I thought.
No, but the character, I think, is Croatian, right?
Yeah, something like that. So he did a promo where he talked about his family sacrificing things so he could come over here and stuff like that, and then he was pretty much like, "I want that North American Championship. Feast your eyes." So clearly seemed like there was maybe something else in between there. Now, the next time we see him, we will have another promo, so we will see how that one goes, because that one he definitely dropped on the live audience that he is here to purify North America. So,
okay. Before we get to the two people who have actually worked with him, can I, as a fan, just ask you guys, if he's cutting promos for
TV, no, he's a total racist. That's your answer, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
If he's cutting promos like that for TV and they're filming it and they're allowing it, I'm assuming that is the direction they wanted him to go with the character. Now, I heard some other places that nobody tweets anything when you're under contract in the WWE without someone else knowing about it.
Unless you're Lana, no.
So I don't think he went rogue. I think this was an angle that got, taken the wrong way.
And on their TV.
Mm-hmm. No, but that's what I mean.
He fucking did it on the TV tapings.
But everybody's like, oh, he tweeted that out, which was a mistake. I don't think he did that on his own. I think they told him to do that.
No, they absolutely did it. Well, so sometimes people will tweet things out in character. Becky Lynch is a great example of that. He was tweeting in the character they gave him. Do I think they necessarily gave him a script from which to tweet? No. I think he probably, hey, this is your character, and then he took it and ran with it.
No, they give him guidelines. They tell you this is what your character is, and work with it. And he took it maybe a little bit farther than they anticipated, which is why it got deleted.
Or maybe his wording was just off. Maybe he didn't realize how that sounded when you read it.
The thing about Dijak, and Ginger can attest to this, is an incredibly intelligent dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Very well read, very knowledgeable, very smart guy. He knew what he was doing. I mean, he knew what the gimmick was. There's no surprises here. His employer said, "This is your gimmick." And the thing with Dijak, and it's been that way since day one, since the first time I worked with him, whatever gimmick you give him, he's going to give it to you 110% of what he can do.
Abso-fucking-lutely. 100%.
And that's what happened here. That's what he did. They gave him a gimmick, and he said, "I'm going to fucking run with this gimmick." He probably said, "Are you fucking serious? This is what you want me to do?" But, alright, if that's what you want me to do, I'm going to fucking do it. Again, the juxtaposition of having him feud with Keith Lee, squash a black guy this week, and then call out the Velveteen Dream. Maybe not the best way to book this, but no, this is not who this guy is off camera, at least as far as I know. I mean, you never really 100% know people, I guess. But you work with them often enough, you get a pretty good feel for who they are.
Well, and again, people like us know that that this is character work. People like us know that this is the character of Dominic Dijakovic saying this stuff. It's the other people who just randomly come across it that go, "This guy's a fucking racist." That's the issue, and that's the ones that you can't do anything with. You can't win with that kind of stuff. So
it's a fucking outrage culture. It's just like, I mean, it's funny, and it's funny because wrestling is held to a standard other things are not held to.
Yes.
And I say that because, like, I'll go on my social media and I'll post a link to a wrestling show I'm working on coming up. And I'll get else to say, "Well, that's all fake, right?" And it's sort of like, I can go, in 2 weeks, I'm going to sit down with my son and I'm going to watch Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
And you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to go. Half the world's population didn't really get wiped out, It's a form of entertainment, but it's a form of entertainment for which we hold to a standard that we don't hold any other form of entertainment to, which I always thought was sort of a weird dichotomy. But and it sort of rears its head here too, because I can watch. Oh God, I'm trying to think of a good example here.
Glorious Bastards.
Porn.
No, I can watch Jake Gyllenhaal make out with a dude in Brokeback Mountain
and jerk off.
I don't automatically assume Jake Gyllenhaal's out banging random dudes because he's a flaming homosexual. I don't know.
He's not?
Isn't. I don't know. Well, my point is only to say, Dijak says this in character on television, and people just assume this is like the real guy's feelings. But it's not. It's a character he's playing. But again, it's a standard that gets attached to wrestlers that doesn't get attached to any other form of entertainment.
Yeah, you got to remember that JBL went. JBL did a goose step when he was at the height of his heel work and had to do a public apology for it. Yet I can turn on fucking Beer Fest and they had a child actor do the same fucking thing. They didn't have to apologize for that.
In Eurotrip, they have a kid doing the fucking goose step with a Hitler mustache on.
Yes, they do.
God.
and it's never had to be apologized because you understand that it's an
It's
actor.
entertainment.
Yeah. They literally have it in the name of their company. Like, we talked before about holding them to a standard with the whole Chris Benoit thing and stuff like that, where other sports people can do whatever they fucking want, And yeah, this is the same kind of thing.
Ray Caruth kills his pregnant wife, and it's not a reflection on the NFL.
No.
Aaron Hernandez kills a dude. Nobody's saying the NFL is clearly creating this situation.
Okay, so
Chris Benoit does it, and it's Vince McMahon's fault.
yes, but back to the original subject here. Back to the whole, this content has everything backwards. This is a diseased environment that breeds impurity. The streets are almost as filthy as the inhabitants. It's a character, for fuck's sake, people. Everything that Jason just said, it's a character. It's not like he's going out and he's going home and he's writing ways to fucking cleanse the U.S. of bad people and such. He's not fucking Thanos. He can't fucking snap his fingers and get rid of all the people he doesn't like.
Of course you can't. That's fake.
That's two Avengers.
Yes,
so far
but
that we've made in this.
I know it's awful, but
Tis
no,
the
it's
season,
just.
motherfucker.
But it sucks because he is such a good guy in person, and
Unbelievable.
APW gave him a Yugoslavian nobleman gimmick, and he went full fucking board
Well,
with the
first we gave him
gimmick.
a bartender gimmick.
Well, yeah, that wasn't a gimmick though. That was just
No,
a
I
fucking
know.
quick video. Come on. But no, he went full board, and again, as Jason said, he went 110% to it, and they probably said, "Here you go," and he fucking took it. So for people to get mad about this and stuff, it's so frustrating because
And if you
we're
wanna
held
get
to a
mad,
different standard.
If you want to have outrage and you want to get mad, that's fine. Get mad at the company that gave it. This was not him sitting in the back. You know what I want to do this month on top? No, Jesus. No.
Well, the other thing too is I think that because the world has changed,
So
that
fucking much for the worse.
you
Continue.
can't do anything anymore without somebody having to say something about it. Even if they have nothing to do with wrestling, or if they've never watched wrestling in a day in life, they see one thing out of context and they're bringing it to their friggin' Supreme Court justice. Like, it's ridiculous nowadays.
So John on the side has an interesting point to make on this. He brings up the fact that back in the early days of wrestling, 60s, 70s, and 80s, kayfabe was taken very seriously.
Oh yeah.
And are we still sort of seeing that idea kind of carry over to even nowadays things where the performers are still I mean, back in the day you couldn't have the good guys and the bad guys hang out together because everyone would be like, what the fuck is Iron Sheik doing? They're having a drink with Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
and yet
When I did when I went down to Nashville and we did the NWA's 52nd anniversary showcase years and years ago, it was very difficult for the workers on that show to work out their matches because the company forced them to be in separate dressing rooms on opposite sides of the arena.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's a very, very different atmosphere then.
Okay, so moving right along, now we're going to talk about the Superstar Shakeup. We're going to take a couple of different aspects to it, but first, let me give you the rundown of where everyone landed.
So far.
Raw got The Miz, Cedric Alexander, pew pew pew, Ricochet, Aleister Black, Andrade.
I don't mean not. Do you mean like?
Oh yeah. Does that mean that he's like overweight? Because it like creeps. I think
all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's like struggling to pull them up.
Hate it.
Zelina Vega, the Usos, Naomi, Eric Young, Rey Mysterio, EC3, Sami Zayn, Lacey Evans, the Viking Experience,
oh god damn it!
AJ Styles, and I put an asterisk here because, by all accounts, Samoa Joe. Now
Right.
that's not official yet, but everything we've heard is that Samoa Joe was supposed to be on Raw, but he has the flu right now, so he should be bringing the U.S. Championship over to him probably on Monday. SmackDown Live got Finn Balor, Ember Moon, Bayley, Kairi Sane, Lars Sullivan, even though we thought he moved to Raw.
Yeah, they said it. They told
They
us.
told us he did. Then he moved to. Then he got assigned to Raw. Then he got traded to SmackDown. Budrick Murphy, Elias,
Interesting story about that, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Elias, Mickey James, Apollo Crews, Chad Gable, Heavy Machinery, Liv Morgan, and Roman Reigns. Still a free agent, Nikki Cross.
Ugh.
They forgot that she's on their roster.
I don't forget shit. They just haven't decided what they're going to do with her yet.
And 205 Live got nobody.
That's not true. They got Oni Lorcan 2 weeks ago.
That's
They
true.
got Only Lurkin a month ago.
No, it was like 2 weeks ago. He was
It was
officially
like 2
named as a
weeks
member.
ago.
Officially named as member, whatever. So that's what we've got there. So we're gonna talk about a couple different things. First, let's talk about.
NXT got nobody.
Well,
NXT got Kushida, not from the shakeup, but
Yeah.
they did just sign him.
That doesn't.
we knew that NXT was not going to get anybody though. I thought maybe 205 Live was actually going to get somebody. I was hoping Heath Slater would move over there because I think he'd be a good addition to it. But that's still not happening. Or Tyler Breeze would be a great fucking addition to 205.
205 still might end up getting somebody like Mark Andrews. I mean, it's like a consolation, but
Oh, Drake Maverick could start wrestling.
Or Piston. So let's talk about a couple of these moments here. Lacey Evans, finally officially on Raw, has started to do shit now. Started last week with slapping Becky Lynch. This week, shook that little ass into a match. Wound up winning the match to now be the first challenger for the Raw Women's Championship. So it looks like Becky is probably going to be pulling double duty at Money in the Bank.
That's weird because she unified those titles. Why would they be having separate title defenses?
but she didn't unify those titles.
Still time, dude. Still time to do it.
It's never going to put that fucking belt on Kofi. All right, guys.
I don't know why you're still harping on it. I admitted last week I was wrong, and I was happy to be wrong. So Lacey.
Occasionally you get hot sauce. That's all I'm saying.
Jesus Christ.
Troy's complete lack of wanting to editing is the only reason that I haven't been fucking muted yet. This is why Troy prefers podcasting with my wife. By far.
So anyways.
So Lacey Evans.
Jesus.
Go, James.
Go Ginger. He was ready to say something. Go ahead.
I'm glad they started doing stuff with her. It's about time. Give her the match. See how she did. It was okay, but I don't see her getting that title unless they pull a shocker and have whoever wins the women's Money in the Bank, cash it in immediately. I don't think they'll do that again because they did that last year with Alexa, right? Because it was Rousey versus Nia, right?
That was last year? Yeah, you're right. They did do it last year with Alexa.
Yeah, so I hope they don't do that because I really enjoy the Money in the Bank being later, not right away.
Right.
But I think Becky will help her bring out the best, and I'm hoping for that. So all the power to Lacey Evans and her future
endeavors?
No, not endeavors, just her future in the company, that's all.
So I have a couple fucking problems with this.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
So first off, what brand is Becky on?
She's got to be both.
She's on both.
Right, but let's assume she loses the Raw title. Does she stay on Raw and defend the SmackDown title, or does she go back to SmackDown, or vice versa? If she drops the SmackDown title, does she still go to Raw to defend it? Like, they needed some clarity
to be determined.
There. Right, that's the problem. Ambiguity is not what we fucking want in this situation.
The best I can figure is that whichever belt she drops, the one that she has is the show she goes to.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. She was SmackDown property. So unless she's been shaken up to Raw, she would go back to SmackDown when she loses that Raw title. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that Raw basically just lost Ronda Rousey, and they need a big female star. They need to fucking keep her on that show. That's a different discussion.
See,
that's
but I would say that, but we don't have GMs anymore. So with the McMahons, they could just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, that's true.
Did we go to the Lacey topic? We're done with the shake-up talk for now?
This is an extension of that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
Sidebar.
Well, so I had the show structured a different way at first, and then you're like, fuck that, we're going to do it my way. So.
You want me to just leave, dude? Because.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Shit, I'm perfectly happy to go to bed. I'm like. Alright, so. Here a couple problems. First off, I didn't like the presentation last week because part of the presentation of Lacey Evans has been that woman's right is fucking devastating and it knocks you out, and Becky essentially no-sold it. She turned her back on it, didn't even go down. I think that fucking buried Lacey right off the bat. The accent we've talked about in the past being horrible, they certainly curtailed that, and I thought that was good. I actually thought her promo was good. I liked her promo. Then the bell rang, as Bruce Pritchard would say. Now, I don't mean to say that her performance in ring was bad, because it wasn't. but it was very sort of female Randy Orton-esque. I'm going to throw a rear chin lock on. I'm going to throw a headlock on.
Oh, it was Rest Hold Randy.
There was very little action, and I think that's not what you want from this women's division right now. And that's not even necessarily Lacey's fault, because the problem is they've had this girl on the fucking roster since January, and she's been not wrestling. She's just been walking out, and that includes live events. This person got called up early, needed fucking ring time, and they didn't give it to her. Now, I don't know what she's been doing in terms of training or whatever, but there's no substitute for performing in front of that live crowd. So I think they did her a disservice in that way, and I think we're going to see some of that very, very soon.
Troy, were you familiar with Lacey before she signed with WWE?
She wasn't a thing before she signed with WWE.
Okay, that's kind of what I was reading up on as well. That she's only been in the game for 3 years. Mm-hmm. That's her entire career. You could argue that she is doing great for only being in the game for 3 years, and I appreciated the presentation that she had. Like Jason said, the promo was really good. I think a lot of
really good. I said good.
It was good. I think a lot of people were very quick to criticize her with the moonsault because she kind of.
Nobody criticizes fucking Alexa Bliss when she comes down on fucking Ember Moon's arms. I mean, shit just happens. Right. It's funny how people are critical of a performer that has an accident that they don't like.
Yeah,
but they're still willing to overlook it when it's somebody that they're fans of.
But that's the thing. I think Lacey did fine, and obviously they put her with Natalya because Natalya's got a lot of experience. Where this goes from here, I don't think she's taken that women's title, but then you hear things like Vince loves her, and who knows, maybe she does. I don't know.
Well, see, and that's the other big problem. To me, that's the overriding big problem, is you're debuting this woman at the top. There's only room for her to go down from here.
True.
And that came out really badly, but you know what I mean.
Well, you've got prime examples on both ends of that. You've got Paige, who debuted and won the championship and wound up having a good career, and then you've got Gail Kim. So you need to kind of figure out, is Lacey going to be more like a piñata, or is she going to be more like a pincushion?
So you say that Paige had a good career, and I agree with that. The problem is, Paige, to me, was never hotter than when she went that first initial run.
Yep.
Yeah. They had to change
true, but she stayed relevant though.
She stayed relevant, and relevance is fine. But when you start someone that far up,
I agree with that part. Yeah. But
there are plenty of people who are relevant. Carmella's relevant, but she doesn't fucking
part of what has made the runs of Becky and Kofi so endearing to the crowd is that years and years of struggle and trying to get that come up and all that stuff, and you don't have that with Lacey. You debuted in the main spot in your division.
Yeah.
And there's that breeds resentment from the fans first and right off the bat, and you've seen that with Roman, and his career has never recovered really from it. And now you're seeing it with her, and I do think it's a detriment to her future going forward.
All right. So, I guess we'll go to...
Should just catch up on the side here a little bit.
Go ahead.
Let's see. So John says that he's thrilled that her finisher isn't a punch anymore. It is. She just didn't use it on Raw. He then said the issue after Becky no-sold the punch, she had to do something. John said the issue is that they leaned on the strutting thing so long that no one gives a shit about her anymore. To which Smathers said no one gave a shit about her after she shit the bed in the Women's Royal Rumble. They have some work to do. John said they did her no favors after that, though to be fair, I don't really see it right now. And Smathers said they figured Natalya could cushion the fall with those beef curtains.
Great line right there.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
All right, so...
All right, we've had a beef curtains mentioned on this show. We could probably just wrap it up.
So we had two people attempt to quit. The first one, Luke Harper, officially requested his release and was the first person to actually admit that they requested a release by just publicly putting it out there. Now, there's some other things now with it where, you know, he apparently his contract is up right around fall, and there was some talk that maybe this is a tactic that he's using to try to get a better contract. There were other people saying that no, you know, WWE could always freeze his contract like they've done with other people that were injured. Or there could also just be that they get rid of him because, you know, as much as I love Luke Harper, he's 39 years old. And at this point, like, they're clearly not going to try to book him as a main eventer. So, you know, the best thing, I think, probably for him is if he is no longer employed by WWE. He can go back to being Brody Lee and can go back to, you know, having a pretty good career on the indies before he hangs it up, because he's only got a couple years left probably. So the other one,
well, he'll go to AEW and be a main eventer like everyone else who WWE doesn't use.
Yeah, like Austin Aries. The other person I tried to quit, I'm just going to combine these two because they're kind of related to each other. Apparently, Sasha Banks. We have now heard conflicting reports. Two conflicting reports from the same person, mind you, as well. In terms of Sasha Banks,
he never said that.
He never said it. I never said it. To be fair, technically he never did say that. He typed it. So, so Sasha Banks, it's now a storyline that she wasn't on Raw. They took the titles off of them at Mania, wound up.
They sort of put it into a storyline, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they put it into a storyline at this point. But Bayley showed up. That's how they announced that Naomi had moved over to Raw, and then Bayley going over to SmackDown. Her whole thing was, I'm a singles person now. I'm here to win the championship, so I'm going to be put into a tag team match my first night. So, what we've been hearing is that Sasha Banks has been given a couple of weeks to think about what she wants to do for the rest of her career. So one of these people, I completely understand why they would want to quit. The other one, I think, is being a little childish.
So, Luke Harper, I think, is immensely talented. He probably should have been added to that main event at WrestleMania 33 with Bray and Randy, because it would have made him. At this point, they're really not going to use Luke Harper. It's not surprising at 39 years old he would ask for his release. I honestly do wish him the best of luck and hope to see him on somebody else's TV soon.
You're going to go into someone else's house and watch SmackDown?
I'm at someone else's TV program.
Oh, okay.
Now, as far as Sasha goes, look, I got to be honest with you. This reminds me so much of so many other people that are fed up with their spot and they want to quit. Well, you know what? WWE doesn't give a fuck. They really don't. They'll roll right along with the next person. And if Sasha doesn't show up in a month because they gave her some time to think about it, if she doesn't come back, goodbye.
Yeah.
See you fucking later.
Okay. Look, can I just cut the bullshit here? The Sasha thing's a fucking work, y'all. Okay.
I don't buy it. They haven't done shit with Sasha. Why would they be doing it?
Explain to me the last disgruntled employee that they said, "Hey, take a vacation for a couple weeks. Come back and let us know what you want to do."
Alicia Fox.
What's that?
Alicia Fox.
Okay, to that
was going
point,
rehab, dude.
She's still employed. She hasn't gone.
Yeah.
That was. We're telling you to go home and go to rehab. That's not like, hey, you're threatening to quit. Take some time off and see what you want to do.
Well,
she very publicly unfollowed WWE, unfollowed Vince McMahon, went and followed AEW. It's a fucking work, y'all. They brought her fucking disgruntled nature up on television. Corey Graves put it over in commentary. That shit is a fucking work. Now, it could be a work with some elements of a shoot in it, but it's clearly a work for television purposes. Now, that said, as far as to what end,
Yeah.
to probably bring her back as sort of a heel, I mean, she's never been appreciated, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Does it culminate in a match with Becky, or what happens there?
Could be. We'll see.
Okay.
Because I think Becky and Sasha is a money match way more so than Lacey and Becky is, and I think WWE recognizes that. Now, as for Harper, I like Harper. I'm a fan of Harper as a performer, but I want to go back to one thing Sal said. They should have put him in that main event match in WrestleMania. I'm sorry. This is where fans need to get over shit. Because you like a guy, because he's a good performer, does not mean he's a main event talent. And this is where I sort of really appreciate a guy like Tyler Breeze, who will go on social media and he'll listen to all these people talk about, oh, you're misused, blah, blah, blah. And he'll say, I cash my checks, I go and do my dream job every week. I'm not worried about that shit. It's cool. He knows his spot, he stays in his lane, and he enjoys the journey that he's on. The fans seem to have this notion that because I like a performer, they're a main event talent. And that's not how this fucking business works. It took Kofi fucking Kingston 11 years and a complete fluke injury to become a main eventer. Again, and it's easy to look at Kofi now and say, oh, well, the fans wanted this. The fans didn't even fucking know they wanted this until Mustafa Ali got his face broken. Not everybody's a main eventer, and that's okay. But we have to stop to recognize that it's okay for people we like to not be main eventers, to just appreciate the performance they put on and appreciate when we get to see them. Are there people who are main event calibers and are misused? Absolutely. Is Luke Harper one of those people? No.
No. And the thing with Harper, there was a time they put the IC belt on him, and that was a perfect opportunity for them to use him, and then they took it off of him a couple of weeks later, and that I think was the worst decision that they made with him. He was in a high profile angle with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt and everything like that. The problem is Luke Harper is 39, he's balding, and he's decent on the mic. He's not a guy that is going to be a focal point of any show. But that's the thing is, I understand why he's frustrated. Why he could be frustrated, because he should at least be used. You know,
Right.
this is a guy who came back from injury, and they
Though,
didn't use him. You know, and there's spots for him. I mean, they brought back Eric Rowan to be a heater. He could have joined up with him. They could have rejoined the Bludgeon Brothers as soon as he came back. You know, the Bludgeon Brothers were a good tag team. They were
over.
thing, yeah. So there was definitely things that they could have used him for.
Okay, so and we talked about this with the revival. Where I'm sorry, Ginger wants to say something.
Jesus
We haven't
Christ.
been allowing him. I've got other point. I just jump in.
Because I'm not on video, you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna
forget
say
I'm
we
here.
can't tell when you want to talk.
No, it's fine.
He does have his dick out though, so
Yes, I do this week. I'm shaking it at you guys.
saving it around for attention.
All of a sudden the camera works.
Okay, so my opinion on the Sasha situation was spoken about on the Blunder. So if you want to listen to that, go back and listen to it. As for Luke Harper, should he have the main point that everybody else has mentioned? Should he have been added to that match with Orton Bray? No. Should he have ran a feud with Orton right after that? Probably yes. That way he could have gotten in. Who knows? Because Orton in his match on I think it was on an episode of SmackDown, probably one of my top 5 matches for him in WWE, because it was pretty perfect, the story that they had told in the match, and Orton actually did stuff in it. But Luke, you got to feel for the guy, because you know, as everybody else has mentioned, he is coming to the end. He wants to be used towards the end of his career in wrestling. So who can blame him for asking for a release, unless you're Jason and think it's a work like everything else? But, you know,
It's not a work. Why is Corey Graves putting it over in commentary?
I'm fucking with you. Shut up. No, you got to feel for the guy overall. You know what I mean? Because he came back from his injury and everything, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here," and nothing. But they'll put pointless fucking people on television, and it's aggravating. You feel for the guy because you know, like I said, he's towards the end of his career, and he just wants to do what he loves.
See, here's the thing, and we talk. A couple people have brought up the points. Why didn't they put him back with the Bludgeon Brothers? Why didn't the Bludgeon Brothers as a team don't work if they're not dominant, and you're not going to put a dominant emphasis and focus on a tag team that consistently has not been able to stay healthy. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Look at the Revival. How long it took. They debuted, one got hurt. They came back, the other one got hurt. They took a long time before the company felt trustworthy that they were not injury prone. Sasha, same thing. Injury prone. They don't trust her to put her in high profile spots for a long term run. So that's probably why Harper didn't come back to the Bludgeon Brothers. They probably said, we don't have anything we can do with you guys right now if you're not a top tag team, and we can't trust you to be a top tag team.
Which is fine, but use him. Use him for something.
Where? Why? What are you going to have him come in and job out? People are going to be equally pissed off about
Who
that.
gives a shit? If he doesn't mind jobbing out, why not put him in there?
Well, look,
I don't care. I don't care if they don't put him over. Just give the guy some work. Let him go out there and do what he likes to do.
I mean,
Simple
he
as
can be
that.
Jinder if you want him to be, but
Whatever.
when
Then just let him do it.
well, we don't know that's what he wants. What if he
But
wants?
no, that's-
what if he
for
wants a main
example.
event push?
I don't think he'd be coming back asking for that right away because he knows he's injured.
Troy wants to say something. Go ahead. Bob.
Sorry. Go ahead.
just to Jason's point, this roster has 170 people on it,
Yes.
and you've got 5 hours of TV. Who do you leave off? I mean, this was a pack.
Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
I mean-
Baron Corbin. I know everyone hates him. That's the
But
fucking
give
point.
Harper Corbin
That's
a
the
fight.
point.
He's
No,
a
that's
lot more
the-
fucking
No.
talented.
No. The point is that people hate Baron Corbin. If you put
he
Luke
sucks.
Harper in that, that's right.
No,
I'm
he doesn't suck.
telling
His
you.
character sucks. He sucks in ring, dude. He's not good, and he's been doing it for like 6 years now.
And what happens when he goes
All
out
right,
there?
let me-
People boo. They get a reaction.
Yeah.
If Luke Harper was
Yeah.
in that
Go
role,
away.
they would cheer him.
It's go away heat.
It's still noise, man.
Yeah, they don't care if it's go away heat or not. It's a
Roman
reaction.
Roman Reigns gets go away heat every time he goes out there. You think they're gonna stop using him? No.
Fuck no.
Work.
You know who's really fucking good in ring?
Who?
Curtis Axel.
Yeah.
And he's half of the fucking B team,
Yeah.
dude. You know why? He's got no fucking personality, no
Right.
fucking character.
Yeah. Baron Corbin.
This is a company where character and personality and persona come above in-ring performance.
And Baron
Has been that way for a long time.
Yeah, it's entertainment more than wrestling now.
And Baron Corbin has a perfect gimmick. He's a piece of shit asshole, and he plays it to perfection. Because he in real life is probably a piece of shit ass. No,
I'm
kidding.
gonna
No,
be
he's
100%.
a nice guy in real life.
I'll be 100% honest with you. When Vince McMahon came out on SmackDown and started doing the whole "this is the biggest talent acquisition in SmackDown," I 100% expected that to be Corbin. That was
That would have been amazing.
the heat that shit would have gotten. Oh my god!
But that's the thing. You need people like him on the roster. Because if the roster was
Yes.
full of people that everyone loved, nobody
See,
would
I
ever
find
boo him.
would
that,
get dueling
I find that
champs all the
hilarious. You
time.
need people like Baron Corbin, yet you have people like Bobby Lashley that can be much, much better in that spot than Baron fucking Corbin.
No, because Bobby Lashley can't fucking talk.
But that's why he has Leo Rush.
Yeah, but
The whole act comes with the package.
So let me explain. Let me just say this, Sal. You want to fix Bobby Lashley? It's a very, very fucking simple formula. You bring back MVP.
Yeah, but
That's what got Bobby Lashley over in TNA. It will work again. MVP can be an amazing heater for Bobby Lashley.
We know he's still alive.
Yeah, and he's happy.
Yep. All right.
Crying.
Yeah.
Hey man, I mean, we're all white, but even we felt it watching that video.
Oh, yeah.
All the feels, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
We got a couple of comments on the side. John wants to know why Alicia Fox hasn't been fired. Smathers says she got them DSLs.
yeah.
That's a Michael Hayes thing, I believe.
She got the obbies.
Tyler says FTR. Baron Corbin is getting heat. Baron Corbin is good for getting the reaction they want, but he's also awful. And I would actually rather see Corbin than Lashley. And again, it's all packaging. Corbin's been given time to develop a character and a persona. Lashley really hasn't. Lashley's been given time to have someone else talk. I think, honestly, I thought Lashley was definitely on the right track when they had him doing that program with Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was, at this point, a year removed.
Because he was just a badass. He was just a guy that wanted the championship and was competing, and that's where Lashley sort of excels. But then they switched it up on him, and that hasn't been the same since.
So, Ronda Rousey is on an impregnation vacation.
Jesus Christ.
She was also photographed with her hand in a cast, so she legitimately did break her hand. As
required surgery, actually.
What's that?
It required surgery.
Yeah, it required surgery. Yep. So bad news for Travis. He ain't getting any handies. But good news, he gets to Raw Dog.
He's got two hands.
I know.
Right? An MMA fighter. She knows how to use the other hand, dude.
All right, I'm sorry. Bad news for Travis. He ain't getting his balls fondled while she's stroking him off.
She got feet, dude.
Oh.
Anyways, but good news for him. He is getting to Raw Dog her. So we at least know that. So that's what she's taking time off for. She's gonna have a kid.
He would far prefer to just smack her around a little bit, I think.
Probably. Who's to say it's not happening afterwards or during?
Or during.
So Ronda Rousey obviously taking time off to have a baby thrown in her. We will see if she wants to come back to wrestle after she has her kid or not.
So let's just take 1 second here, because we on this show, and Troy, you in particular, have really fucking ripped on Meltzer. He had this one nailed about a year ago, that Ronda was going to go to WrestleMania and then going to go try to have kids. So, and she even opposed that report, and everyone else said, nothing was decided concrete. Meltzer did have it correct, right? About a year ago, he had this one out.
Yeah. Sometimes pitchers hit singles. doesn't mean I trust him at bats.
No, but my point is, he does obviously have some credibility and some sources that are feeding him correct information.
Yeah, just some. He just doesn't use them all that often.
Okay,
but we as fans never know. So you gotta listen to everything and then judge it.
And that's why we talked about it that's why we do still talk about this douchebag when he reports stuff like that. Because sometimes he's right. Usually not, but sometimes he's right. Sometimes Ryan Satin is right, and then sometimes he says, "No, I wasn't right."
Well, Ryan Satin also got fired from TMZ for just flat out making shit up. So,
true. Yeah. So, anything else to say really about Ronda Rousey getting a baby chucked in her?
Jason, let me ask you a question.
About Ronda Rousey getting pregnant?
The WWE poured a lot of money into Rousey this past year. Do you think they got their return on investment?
110%.
Yeah.
What do you think they were looking for?
She signed a 2-year deal, right? Like
they were all over ESPN. They were literally all fucking over ESPN.
And now all that media coverage goes away.
She got inducted. All that media coverage has just transitioned over to Becky now.
Nah, man, they're not going to cover Becky now that Ronda's not involved in it. They're not. I'm sorry. I love Becky, but ESPN's not going to do a goddamn thing about it.
Dude. Okay.
I'll let you take it.
Look, let me say this. Good on Ronda. She's doing what she wants to do with her life. But I think that the WWE thought she was going to be around a little bit longer. I don't think you pour that type of money into somebody for 1 year work.
Nope, gonna stop you right there. This was the plan all along. She had planned vacation time after this WrestleMania. This was the plan all along. They got her for the exact amount of time that they signed her for.
This isn't vacation time. I'm saying she's done.
That's a leap that you can't make.
Okay, that's my prediction. How about that?
Okay, your prediction is that she's no longer going to come back after she's done having a baby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine to make that prediction. You're gonna be wrong.
Write it down. 11 o'clock, 4/18/2019. Yeah.
So can I tell you why you're wrong now?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you're premise is 100% flawed because you say, well, yeah, ESPN's not touching Becky. First off, Becky was already fucking all over ESPN leading into WrestleMania. They already got her on there
because of Rousey. My God, dude, come on! You're smarter than this, man. You think that if Rousey is not featured on WWE program, you really think that ESPN's going to give the WWE the same coverage they've been doing for the past year?
You do
for the women's division.
Dude, hold on. I let you talk. Now let me talk. Do you understand how cross promotion works?
Yeah, and usually Vince doesn't get it back.
You know what? I am a fan of the shows NCIS Los Angeles and Hawaii 5-0. Okay? They did a fucking crossover episode. The reason you do that crossover episode is so fans of one show might check out the other one and say, hey, this is something I want to watch going forward. The fucking characters don't constantly appear on the fucking shows. That's not how cross-promotion works. They got Becky Lynch on ESPN, and maybe a few people that didn't know who she was before now do. The plan was never, Becky Lynch is going to have a fucking weekly show on ESPN. That was never the fucking objective. They accomplished their objective with Ronda Rousey. They brought in the UFC fans to see her. They put new eyeballs on the product. They had the women main event fucking WrestleMania. They got all the press and pub based on that. They got literally everything they could have possibly wanted out of that relationship.
You're a longtime UFC fan, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You really think those fans are sticking around? Because I know a lot of people who watch UFC that was like, oh, yeah, the wrestling, that's stupid, it's fake. They don't give a shit if Rousey's over there. They really don't. And I'm talking about the majority. I'm not talking about a small percentage. UFC fans don't give a fuck about WWE, dude. You know that to be true. Say no all you want. It's the truth.
That's not how arguments work, by the way.
Oh God!
You can't just say it's the truth.
Look, if UFC was bringing in all these, if we were getting all these UFC fans, then their fucking viewership numbers wouldn't be in the toilet.
Nobody's talking
like they still are.
Nobody's talking about UFC numbers. People are talking about getting publicity. They got a ton of publicity from Ronda Rousey, and she is gone now. And in her place, they have built the women up with her there. They
put an entire fucking build into Stephen Amell and SummerSlam, and that motherfucker hasn't been back since. Clearly, they got fucking screwed on that deal.
They made a shit ton of money. They made a shit ton of money on merchandise. They made a shit ton of money on appearances. They made a shit ton of money on WrestleMania buys and network subscribers and stuff like that. You cannot look at TV rankings anymore because what you are seeing, those overnight things, that's not the way that TV works anymore. People don't watch shit live as much anymore. People watch it on more than just Nielsen boxes. You know who are members of Nielsen? Old people. All right? I do not watch WWE TV on my TV. I have a Roku app. That is not tracked in overnight ratings. That is not tracked in Nielsen ratings. That's not tracked on things like that. Their ratings are in the tank right now because people are watching their program in different ways. They're watching it on YouTube. Go to their YouTube channel right now and look at how many fucking subscribers they have. Okay? They are watching it on the network. They are watching it through Hulu the next day. They are watching it in all these different things that are not accounted for in those ratings. So all of that core audience that used to watch fucking 10 million people a week or whatever that used to watch that are watching it all over the place and elsewhere.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no,
they are.
No, the fuck they're not. Now
yes, they are!
No. You're telling me that the fans they had in the 90s are still watching? No, dude. They've said that. Nobody's still watching from the way they used to watch in 98. Not a chance in hell.
Dude, yeah, you're having a completely different argument than anyone else is having. This is the thing that's getting frustrating is you're not acknowledging what the goal with Rousey was. The goal with Rousey was never to have her have a 10-year fucking wrestling career. It was use her name recognition to bring brand attention to your product for a year, to get more exposure for the women who are going to be there going forward. She accomplished both of those goals exceedingly. So they got, not only did they get their money's worth out of Rousey, they got 10 times what they put in with her in terms of press, public information, new people seeing things from their product, brand recognition, marketing, promotion, fucking the award shows that the women are going to be on for what they accomplished, Evolution, all the fucking press they got for the first women's pay-per-view. That doesn't happen if Ronda's not there.
Okay. All right. I think it still happens, but you're saying Evolution doesn't happen if Ronda's not there.
I said I don't know. A women's only pay-per-view does not happen without Ronda Rousey's brand and then name at the top of that card. And you know how I can tell you that? Because for 50 fucking years it never happened until Ronda Rousey got there. And by the way, is there one booked for this year? No. Okay.
So our last topic before we get to the main event, Paige was.
I think you broke Troy, Sal. Just so you know.
Paige was teasing that we were going to have a brand new team to face the Iconics, and she was bringing 2 new superstars over to SmackDown. She proceeded to bring 1.
Well, so originally she said she's bringing a new team, which was not incorrect. But when she got up there and spoke, she said, I'm introducing brand new talent. That was the problem.
So, I guess we should have saw it coming, because Kairi Sane had a farewell match, did a bow. Io Shirai did not. So I guess we should have seen it coming that it was only going to be Kairi Sane moving up. But Asuka is now a tag team wrestler. A month removed from being the SmackDown Women's Champion, she is now teamed up in a tag team.
I mean,
she's being used. She's going to be used.
Yes.
She's being used too, but a month removed from being in the hottest women's program with Ronda Rousey at the Royal Rumble, Sasha was tagging with Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Asuka was teaming with Naomi back in the fall, so she's been in tag teams before.
And The Miz.
So why? So why do we have Asuka as Kairi's tag team partner instead of Io Shirai?
I think it's probably just more that they want Io to do down in NXT. They probably want to let her have fun, get a little more sort of brand recognition. We're just talking about in terms of who she is and get more eyes on her down there. And maybe they just don't think she's ready for the main roster at this point. That's entirely possible too.
Okay.
I personally would love to see Io get a title run, against Shayna. I'm not really sure. I think we all kind of assumed it was supposed to be Io and Kairi because that's who they were pairing. But, I'm not 100% against it, especially if they're going to be feuding for the women's tag team titles. At least it gives Asuka something, right?
I'm just mad we can't use the Ass Pirates name anymore.
Oh, we can call them the Asuka Pirates.
Yeah, the pirate experience.
So, Ginger, what are your thoughts on the Asuka Pirates?
The Asuka Pirates. It's a little confusing because, is this the reason that she dropped the women's title? Is because they said, "Oh, hey, Kairi's coming up. Let's put her in a tag team," but not with who she's tagging with down at NXT. That's confusing, but I don't hate it. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Vince, they're both incredibly talented, but what makes them a tag team? God damn, pal, look at them.
They're Asians.
They're both Japanese. They worked with those fucking New Day guys. Don't fucking question me.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. They did a couple tag moves, didn't they? I believe during the match. So it was just your basic fucking drop to hold, fucking leg drop. But still, I mean, if they pull it off, cool. Yeah, it is a little odd. It's gonna take some getting used to, but hey, if they have all the power to them to try and make it a successful tag team.
Yeah, and with Paige at the mouthpiece, I think it has a chance.
Well, I don't know. Will Paige be the mouthpiece though? I think Paige just went out back after she announced
Depends
them.
on if Xavier Woods is around. That must be bad. Troy's shaking his head at me.
I mean, it would appear as if that Paige is going to be the mouthpiece for them, because otherwise, why have her say I'm bringing them up? You would just have them debut, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what they need. Somebody who can do promos for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a huge help.
They sure as fuck can't do it themselves.
Oh my God! They did a thing on the WPC YouTube channel with like Xia Li saying goodbye to Kairi Sane.
Oh boy.
I'm sure it was completely intelligible.
It was actually sort of cute. But
So I need to get watching those videos, because the promo that they played for the YouTube channel gave me all the feels watching NXT last night.
Yeah.
I was
Oh yeah, I saw that promo. Yeah,
I've been telling you guys about this thing for months now.
oh yeah, we just don't normally listen to you.
I know most people don't.
Yeah. So Absolution, part 2. I did enjoy.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, I did enjoy the fact that they had the original Absolution come out and kind of
Yes.
say like thanks for bringing everyone back together and everything like that. And Paige is like
Paige is like,
I have
No, big girl.
no, baby girl, I have Absolution. So from okay, so let's move on to our main events.
Hold on, let me get because there's a couple good ones on the side here.
Oh Jesus.
Back when we were talking about Ronda, John said, "I feel like she'd be a bit too aggressive with the hand stuff." Can't really argue that. Smathers said he thinks she would batter him, not the other way around. They have both agreed Sal's wrong and Ronda will be back. If the WWE ratings were so bad and so toxic, they would have never gotten the Fox deal they did. Fair point.
that should be interesting come October.
Why?
Evolution happened because they were trying to make up for the negative Saudi press. I thought it was certainly a factor, but pay-per-views aren't scheduled on the fly like that. This was something that was already in the works.
Unless it's Great Balls of Fire.
Okay, so they canceled the pay-per-view in Boston to put on Evolution, didn't they?
They
Say that again?
moved.
Yeah, they moved it.
They moved it. They
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
cancel it, They moved it.
No, it was not a pay-per-view anymore. It was a Sunday live
you're
event.
right. I'm sorry. I'm completely wrong.
But there was a pay-per-view scheduled that they just switched the venue and location and name. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like they just randomly threw in a pay-per-view that wasn't already scheduled. They just moved a different one.
Yeah.
At some point, do they drop the stupid pirate thing? Not going into WrestleMania in Tampa Bay.
No.
No.
Especially after the fucking pirate ship gimmick for the promo.
She's gonna come in on a ship. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever.
We're gonna play different enough to make sure we don't get sued. Pirates of the Caribbean music. And then you're going to swing in a la Shawn Michaels on a zip tie. Please,
Paul Burchill. What are you talking about,
Please.
Shawn Michaels?
please do not touch your release until you are over the ring.
Oh shit!
Oh, she's gonna say, "Please don't die." Same thing.
To be fair, Owen Hart was over the ring when he pressed it.
Just not over the center of the ring.
Smathers says Paige went looking for Xavier and the Big O. Kevin Owens was not involved, though. And then John simply said the average O.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's go back to the Superstars shakeup before we take this bitch home. So SmackDown became the Isle of X NXT Women's Champions, with the addition of Ember Moon, Bayley, Kairi Sane, obviously Paige being kind of back in the forefront. They also gained IC champion Finn Balor. Lars Sullivan's ugly face is over there now. Buddy Murphy is there to, I guess, be Ali Light. You've got Elias there. You've got Roman Reigns, obviously, who is a perfect swap for AJ Styles, in my opinion. You got the Fat Mechanics. You've got Liv Morgan, which I think is a very interesting one. Potentially teaming up with Absolution, the non-racist version of him. Over on Raw, obviously, you've got Samoa Joe, most likely AJ Styles, the Viking Experience, Lacey Evans, Sami Zayn, EC3, Rey Mysterio, Eric Young, splitting up Sanity, Naomi, the Usos, Andrade, Aleister Black, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and The Miz. So, which of those people, starting with you, Jason, do you think should not have been moved?
Oh, wait, we're already on the main event? We haven't even touched on the name change yet, but okay, well, I'm sure we'll have that somewhere along the way.
You can encompass it in there.
Okay. Who shouldn't have been moved on that list? I'm going to give you maybe an interesting one that maybe nobody else will agree with, but that's fine. I would not have moved The Miz. And I say that because, first off, I believe he's been moved now in every Superstar shakeup.
That's correct.
Because he was on Raw doing great work with the IC title. They moved him to Raw. He felt like a fucking afterthought on Raw because he doesn't really fit what they want to do over there. They moved him back to SmackDown. He was a fucking big deal again, and now they're moving him back to Raw. And they're moving him back to Raw to freshen him up by continuing the feud with Shane McMahon that he was running on SmackDown. I don't see this as being a positive for Raw. I don't see it as being a positive in any way for The Miz. So for me, I would not have made that move. I think that's going to be one of the biggest letdown moves that they're going to have, and he's going to just get switched back to SmackDown next time.
All right. Let's not forget about the fact that yet again, in the limited time that he interacted with Shane McMahon, he got busted open.
Yeah, actually, hard way too.
Hard way, yes, very much so.
How did that happen?
I think
What
it
did he
was on
hit
the
him
punch.
with?
I think it was on one of the punches.
Yeah, I think he just caught him.
Jesus.
It was
Yeah.
odd though because he didn't start bleeding until he got back in the ring.
It
So,
takes a second.
yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna
But-
say if he
but-
caught him.
Like, normally you're kind of looking for like when he's bleeding, and like he goes from not.
Well, it was in
bleeding-
his hair.
Yeah,
so.
he goes from no visible blood to they cut to
Dude,
Shane in
bum.
the back end, and he's fucking bleeding out.
It's just like, how the fuck did that even happen?
Yeah, I was like, when they researched it, I was like, did he stone cold himself and hit himself with
Yeah.
a chair? I was like, no, he swung it good. He's fine.
I think Shane took so much shit for how crappy his punches looked. He's like, fuck it, I'm laying this shit in.
Yeah. Ginger, who on that list do you think should not have been moved?
I mean, not really a move, so to speak, but where Ricochet and Aleister Black,
Pew,
they
pew.
should have split. they should have split them up.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
still
keep
coming.
them together. Yeah, but still, don't keep them together unless you're gonna have them run a feud against each other. But if they just randomly say, "Okay, I'm going this way, you're gonna go this way," it's gonna mean absolutely nothing. So that's a little disappointing because they both can do singles matches. That's what they were known for NXT and for in NXT. Don't fucking keep them as a tag team. You have plenty of tag teams. Use the ones that you have. You don't need another one. But yeah, that was, in my opinion, the dumbest thing that happened during the shakeup.
All right. Sal?
Signing Ronda Rousey.
As much as I'm going to enjoy seeing him on Raw, I don't think you should have moved Andrade yet. I think that spots were opening up on SmackDown where you could then put Andrade even in a feud against Kofi. I mean, this guy is probably not going to be used very much on Raw. You have guys like Drew McIntyre and Lashley and Corbin that are going to be taking a lot of spots and a lot of TV time. I really hope I'm wrong, but I would have kept Andrade on SmackDown. Him and Zelina Vega.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
That also raises an interesting point because in two separate cases, you had Andrade pin the Intercontinental Champion on Raw in a spot where they're not going to be able to continue that feud, so there was really no point in having Balor take a clean loss there as a champion.
Yeah.
And then Naomi and Bayley beat the Iconics clean again to no avail because now they're not going to be teaming up anymore. So in both cases, the champions took pinfalls that really don't do anything to help the people that beat them.
Right. So John says that right now the Raw Women's division feels a little weak. They kind of got a little gutted and didn't really get much in return. Because Naomi is one of those people that she's either a big deal or she's non-existent. There's not really any in between with her. He feels that Elias shouldn't have been moved, or they should have moved him and Drew, because SmackDown feels light on heels.
Yeah, but I think on Raw they want Corbin, they want Lashley, they want McIntyre to take those top heel roles. There wasn't a spot for Elias to be a top heel. I think there is that spot and opening on SmackDown. So,
me personally, just looking at this list, I still think that Mysterio is better served on 205 Live to be kind of a mentor for the guys there and to pop ratings over there. But I understand also why they want to still get something out of him before he's done, because he's another one of those guys.
For what I'm sure they're paying him, you're not going to stick him on 205.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get that. Other than that, I mean, I think that there's not really that many other people. I mean, they still can't seem to get this title swapping thing to work right in their favor. This year, obviously, Samoa Joe getting sick, they couldn't have him show up on Raw. Last year was that weirdness where was it last year that they had the Jinder Mahal thing where like he dropped the title?
Yeah,
Before that, you had them both on the same show, and then you had to have Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho do a feud where if this one won, it went to this show. If this one, you're like, we know who's gonna win because they got to put it on the other show. So still couldn't get it that way. So then the second half of this is who should have been moved but wasn't. And I'm gonna say
a couple really obvious ones to me.
Yeah,
on this.
to me, Braun on SmackDown was what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him in a new environment. I think he would still kind of do the same thing, but at least there was, to me, it would have at least been a little bit more eat. But I'm very happy that Roman Reigns is on SmackDown. I think that they can really make him like the Batista of the original two-brand era, where that's his show, and you can have Seth as being the Raw guy, But Ginger, who do you feel should have been moved?
God, can I pass for a minute? I gotta think about this one.
Sal, who do you think should have been moved?
Sorry.
No worries.
He's jerking off.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have moved Lashley to SmackDown and move him with Rush and put him in a high-profile program, and I think it would have worked. I don't like keeping Drew, Lashley, and Corbin all in the same show still, because I feel like we're just going to get probably, a lot of the same matchups. Probably a lot of them with Seth. and I don't want to see Miz go against any of those three guys. I think that's just going to... going back to Jason's point, why the fuck are you continuing this feud with Shane and now Miz is on Raw? That literally boggles my mind, because I think they're going to have another match, and I don't get what the payoff is there.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry. Charlotte Flair should have gone to Raw for Raw being gutted of the women's division and not getting any more talent like SmackDown did.
But if Raw gets Becky out of the deal, because now she's appearing on that
Yeah,
show.
but she's got both.
Right, but I think I honestly believe she's going to end up being on Raw.
Ultimately, yeah.
Yes, but even if that happens, who care? Who's gonna care? Who's gonna have a problem with Becky versus Charlotte?
Well, I mean,
It's overdone at this
Yeah,
point. You
you've
need
done
some
that.
separation.
You've gone to that well a lot. So
plus if you move Charlotte off of SmackDown, what heels do you have on SmackDown for women? None. You got none.
Oof, yeah.
Now you can use Charlotte on SmackDown to sort of try to rehabilitate Bayley too.
Yeah.
yep.
So because
Okay, I suck.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
Drew is a good choice for this category 100%. But to me, the easy answer, the obvious answer, is the Revival should have moved to SmackDown. That is a couple guys in desperate need of a fresh start on a show where tag team wrestling is given some priority and some import. Unlike Raw, I think they needed to move badly. And when I saw them call up War Raiders and stick Black and Ricochet on Raw, I was convinced that was the next move. A feud between them and the Hardys would have been great. The plus side is maybe we get a program with the Usos and the Revival, and I'm definitely there for that. But again, it's going to be happening on Raw, so who knows what we're going to get in terms of time for them to tell that story.
Speaking of which, they moved a lot of tag teams to Raw. Are they gonna have a renewed focus, or are we just gonna get, 10 minutes of an 8-man tag every other week?
No, I think you're gonna get a refocus because Raw really has been mainly a singles area, where I think SmackDown has been the more dominant tag team division. So I think they're gonna try and flip flop that a little bit.
I mean, it would be nice. I guess I'll believe it when I see it.
And I definitely enjoyed the fact that Roman got pushed to SmackDown, and Elias too, because I think Elias he's gonna be able to work more. I think on SmackDown is what they're gonna go for with him, because I mean they really haven't done many. They haven't had him do much work in the ring. It's been a match here and there. They haven't given him a storyline. Give him a storyline. I think he deserves it. Yeah, give him a fucking run. And Roman coming out, and if Elias wasn't there to catch Vince, I don't think Elias would have a job. But, yeah.
So since we're talking about tag teams, and we cannot possibly end this show.
Wait.
It's coming.
Wait.
Patience.
Wait. I got one thing to say before you go into this, because I know it's going to be you and Ginger talking about this because you have the most attachment to it. Elias is...
Well, fuck me, I guess. I guess I'll just shut up for the rest of the show.
Have you worked with him?
No, but I got a lot to say about it.
So, Elias has started to do this little bit of a gimmick where he's been mixing in hints of who's going to interrupt him.
Yeah.
I hope that he just gets less and less subtle as it goes along. And eventually he's just like, I sure do hope that somebody who has had Xavier Woods inside of them does not interrupt me.
And then Big E comes out?
Yeah, then Big E.
Oh my god.
I sure hope that somebody who has not been inside Paige doesn't come out, and then half the roster comes out.
Jesus Christ.
Before we talk about what I know we're going to talk about, can I just talk about Sami Zayn real quick? And how amazing that whole segment on Raw was. He gets the crowd to absolutely go apeshit for him. They play his music 3 times, which had to be a rib on him from somebody in the back. And then he turns them. He completely turned that fucking crowd. I thought it was great. It was one of my favorite parts of Raw.
Allow me to go the other way. One of my favorite parts of the weekend was Kevin Owens joining the New Day. Fucking fantastic. I was only disappointed that they didn't do the heel turn at the end. I'm sure it's going to be coming. They're probably going to go the route of building up trust.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
But the Kevin Owens thing, like you gotta be able to move, and they hip swivel. I was dead.
I lost it.
So John says maybe they go the opposite way, and the KO thing leads to Big E turning because he has resentment towards them just replacing him.
Possibility.
So,
but I don't see KO as a permanent replacement as part of this group.
Oh, no.
I don't see why they would do it that way. because I think Big E can come back and be a permanent part of that group. I don't think Kevin Owens can be.
I don't think it's going to be permanent.
And I don't know if this was intentional, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm just the old school wrestling guy and me reading into this. There was a moment after they got that win where Owens went to raise Kofi's hand, and for just the slightest second before he raised his hand, he stopped and looked at the title.
Yep.
And then raised his hand. And lest us not forget, Owens was the guy Vince, who didn't want Kofi in the match, said was deserving of the title over him. This is all playing into the Kevin Owens turn on Kofi.
Plus, let's not forget, it's also in line with his character because he turned on
Right.
Sami Zayn when he had the championship. So
Yes, he did.
Exactly.
Yes, he did.
And Chris Jericho.
And you have
Yep.
the real life story that WrestleMania was supposed to be Kevin Owens' moment, and Kofi sort of took it away from him.
And
So
he can run with that.
it's all fucking right there for that. So I 100% think that's all right.
all right. So over on Raw, I'm gonna intro it for you because I know you. We proceeded to have the debut of a new team, and I have never had like my emotions go from one end of the spectrum so quickly to the other as when the music hit and the War Raiders came out, and suddenly I looked at the Titantron and went, "What?" And then proceeded to hear, ladies and gentlemen, this is the NXT Tag Team Champions, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Experience. Jason, take it away.
I want to know what Sal thinks about this.
So, quick story: as I'm watching Raw, I hear the music similar, and I didn't notice the Titantron. So I was just like, "Oh shit, they're calling them up," and then they did the flash of their nameplate across, and I just went, "Wait, what?" It stopped everything that I had dead in my tracks because I was just very confused. I didn't know why they did this, and I was still on the side of, okay, let's just forget about it. You know, they're here. It's awesome. This is a great moment. They're on Raw. They got the win in the 8-man. But every time I wanted to forget about it, Michael Cole kept saying it. I was like, can you just not say their name and just let me enjoy this tag team on Raw? That's pretty much it. That was my story on that.
So you got all upset about not being able to share?
No. I'm more confused than I am mad. I think a lot of people were very mad. Go ahead.
Hold on. No, yours is going to be more in depth than mine, so let me just speak mine. It's a fucking joke. So apparently they were scrambling to get a name that day, and they came up with that hot garbage name, the Viking Experience, which, come to find out, that is a exhibit at a some museum or something, and it's literally called the Viking Experience Incorporated or something. Their fucking social media lit the fuck up, and they I believe they tweeted toward WWE and said, "Hey, thanks for the exposure."
Sounds like
we
the
have a
submission
submission
sorority all
course.
over again.
Yep.
It's awful. Like the Viking Experience. I don't mind the names. I don't mind those. They're a little different, but
I have a problem with WWE superstar Eric.
well, when you put it that way, very fucking valid point right there. Oh God, I mean, I was, when I first heard, because I didn't watch it live, when I first heard the news break, I was like, awesome for Todd. Great guy. But let him enjoy it for the first 24 hours before... What?
Please explain to the audience who Todd is.
Oh, Todd is Ivar. So let him enjoy it, especially like all the people that know him and have worked in indie shows around here with him. Let the guy fucking enjoy it before you go shitting on it. The guy just debuted on Raw. Let him enjoy it. Don't crap on it. Like, and I said that all over the place, but I'm happy that they came up. But God, that name's fucking awful. WWE Superstar Eric. You just fucking ruined it for me, Troy. So bad. But yes, the name sucks, but hey, they got called up. Congratulations to them. Your thoughts, Greeny?
Yeah, Ginger said everything I was going to say, so I'm done.
Really?
No. So
I'm gonna say that's fucking rare.
My entire household, my wife, my son, they've all been fortunate to meet Todd and see him and know that I've worked with them. And needless to say, War Machine, War Raiders have been huge favorites in my house. We all jumped up and down when they won the NXT titles at TakeOver. It was a huge scream in my house of happiness. So imagine we're sitting here watching Raw, and I'm sort of half paying attention because I'm on my tablet, and I hear music, and it doesn't even register, and I look up, and I'm, holy shit! Like, we all screamed, like, what the? We screamed over the original intro.
Yep.
And as they're making their way to the ring, I just out of the, like, sort of to the side, hear Michael Cole say Eric and Ivar. Which, by the way, they screwed up Hansen's name they pronounced it about 4 different ways in that match.
Ivar!
So I don't think they were 100% even on what it was. And I stopped and said, wait a second. The fucking Viking experience? The fuck is this? Now, I also took to social media because I want to do that, and I have a lot of friends who also know Todd and have worked with him closely. And I was curious on their thoughts. None of them were too flattered by the idea. Ginger, to Ginger's point, couldn't be fucking happier.
Exactly.
For Todd. And if you don't know Todd and know Todd's story, you don't understand necessarily how fucking like this is not a kid who grew up wanting anything except this. Like, it was always WWE or I'm not going to feel like I did it. You could have held the New Japan Tag Titles 700 times. If he never made it to WWE, it would have never felt like the dream was fulfilled for Todd. That said, me being me, I happened to I sent Todd a message that night. I said, dude, I couldn't be fucking happier for you. Everything outside of the name is fucking great. And of course, I don't want to get into anything that he said, but of course, Todd being Todd was fucking messaged me back by the next morning, and I'm sure his fucking phone was swamped, so that just shows you the kind of person he fucking is. Makes an attempt to get back to everybody in some way, shape, or form. That's just the dude that Todd is. I'm fucking thrilled for Todd. Mm-hmm. I am. And I've been on this show, and I've defended the notion of shortening names or taking a name away from time to time.
Sure.
And I think there are situations where it's not a big deal. I don't think it was a big deal for Andrade. I think it sucked for Mustafa Ali. I think it varies from person to person. In this particular case, there's a couple things at play here. First off, you're talking about a team that currently holds the NXT Tag Team Championships as the War Raiders. Yep. You're running video packages on television this week about the War Raiders. They are on TV wearing T-shirts that say the War Raiders. They're being referred to on NXT as Hanson and Rowe. I'd even be okay, and I think somebody mentioned this, but I felt the same way. I would be okay if it was Hanson and Rowe, the Viking Experience. I could learn to live with that.
Right.
These guys are established national talents. These are not some dudes that they pulled out of the NFL and they are bringing up that nobody fucking knows. Changing the name one time to War Raiders from War Machine when they came in. Okay, fine. Now, in the span of less than a year, you're changing their name twice and changing their individual name. And you could have given them the coolest fucking name in the world. You didn't, but you could have. And it wouldn't have made a fucking difference to my problem with it. My problem with it isn't even the names. It's that you've set these guys up for failure already. You have given them a name at this point that makes them seem like a joke. Not the dominant fucking punch you in the mouth physical force that they should be. Instead, to somebody's point, they feel like an act from a fucking Ren fair.
Right.
That's not what's going to endear them. I understand how it happened. I understand Vince doesn't like the word war. And we know that because he's changed Raw is war, didn't want it on there. And I understand once you're going to be Viking Experience, I can see it. I can see the fucking meeting. Well, goddamn, if we're going to call them a Viking Experience, their names need to sound more like Vikings. Hanson and Rowe doesn't work. Eric the Red, that was a Viking. I said, we need another Viking. Like, that's the way this happened. I 100% guarantee you that's the way this happened.
Not to interrupt you, but two things real quick. Just on that point. I know Vince doesn't like the word war. I know he's got a lot of sponsors he's got to worry about. But he just introduced a gunshot into Ricochet's entrance theme. For no fucking reason. Why, you know.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to do that, but we're going to remove the word war. And if you have such an issue with the word war, change it when they first signed their deal with NXT. Because if you were going to brand them as War Raiders for a year, you could have branded them as something else to start their WWE career.
But that just speaks to those people who've had the debate and the discussion about Vince has his hands off of NXT. That speaks to that. He didn't give a shit. He let Paul name him what he wanted to. They took War Machine out because there's some copyright issues related to that, so they went with War Raiders. That was Paul's call, 100%. Because if it was Vince's, it wouldn't have been that. I love Todd. Todd is one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with, and I sort of feel as good as their in-ring work is, and they are legitimately one of the best tag teams in the world. Mm-hmm. I fear that this type of hokiness right off the bat is going to prevent them from being put in a position to be where they should be. And that worries me for Todd. And Rowe, but we're all sitting here talking about how great Todd is. Rowe's a fucking great dude, too.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't have the same personal relationship with Rowe. I think Troy wants to say something.
So, John, on the side, with the reminder, Ember Moon is referred to as the War Goddess.
Was referred to. I don't think I heard that recently.
Yeah, she just said her new nickname.
The Sheena.
Yes, the
She's
Sheena.
been a Sheena for a while. The
She
Warrior
did that
Goddess.
in NXT too. But the War Goddess, I don't know.
I believe it's the Warrior Goddess in NXT.
Well,
in
it.
WWE.
I just googled it, and it comes up as the War Goddess Ember Moon. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you've also got a guy who has a setup move called the Drive-By, and you have another guy who used to do a curb stomp, which I understand that they have changed the name on it now, but there's other things that are an issue than if they're the War Raiders. And then,
wait, have they changed the name?
Of what?
Don't they still call it the Curb Stomp?
Just
the
Stomp.
They will not
my.
say the word curb stomp.
It's just called the Stomp now.
Okay, maybe I'm just hearing Stomp.
Okay. So yeah, I mean it's the same kind of thing, but you know, we talk about these NXT guys that come up and some of them have got their names changed. Obviously, Ali is now there. Elias was Elias Sampson, you know, down there.
Oh yeah, see, you forgot about that.
But it wasn't a complete rebrand like it was on this kind of thing, you know. The last time we really seen like a complete rebrand from NXT to the main roster was Jinder Mahal when he was a member of 3MB, where he was a normal character down in NXT and then came up and was a brand new character. Or Fandango was another example of that, where they just randomly changed his name and gave him a new gimmick because he was Johnny Curtis one day, and then the next day he was Fandango on the main roster. And none of those people I just said have worked out. So it sucks because I'm a big fan of them, and WWE changed a little bit of them because they were Warbeard Hansen and Raymond Rowe, and they became Hansen and Rowe, and now they're Eric and Ivar, which the tag team name you could get over. The completely changing their actual shoot names is kind of weird. So unless we have something else that anyone wants to say about the War Raiders.
Two real quick things about that. One, it was reported on PW Insider that they were going to go with the Berserkers up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which
I would have hated that less.
Yeah, I would have hated that less. But I understand, like, we already had a Berserker back in the 90s. We really.
I wonder if John Nord getting arrested recently played a role in not doing that.
Probably.
Fucking asshole.
But the second thing is we have, and I know, like you, to Jason, to your point, Vince doesn't give a shit about NXT, but Velveteen Dream's whole thing his whole gimmick is the experience. So now, is he not going to be able to use that when he gets called up? Because we've already gotten experience, so.
Oh. I can't really answer that one. But I do have a point myself. So when the music hit, the crowd popped. When they said the name, almost silence. Go back and watch it again.
God, Cole, do you recognize that? It's the ambiguously gay black sensation.
So, speaking of Cole,
former NXT North American champion.
We'll see, we will see what happens.
That's never going to fit on a side plate. Jesus Christ.
We'll see what happens when Purple Peter arrives, but
Purple Peter, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Cole's looking old.
He is old.
Thanks for that. Cole,
that's all.
Smathers says gay Titus.
Oh no. That's a callback, folks.
Oh shit! It's a long time.
Purple Bender.
Smathers also says the Cerebral Assassin, the Legend Killer, the Kingslayer. But we hate using the word war.
The Beast Slayer
He's
now.
the Beast Slayer now, but there's still Slayer in his name. It's still a violent connotation to things.
There's never any logic to Vince's shit like this. I mean, the issue. This is something that nobody's really brought up. Becky Two Belts is a thing, and we know he fucking hates calling them belts.
Yeah,
they're fucking titles, pal, not belts. But Becky Two Belts is okay, and the Iconics went out and said their belts were better. So this is a thing this is actually a tremendous departure from Vince's approach before. This is the thing. There's no logic behind it, and he changes it on the fucking fly. Well, not even the least fucking bit surprised me to tune into Raw on Monday and see the War Raiders fucking Hansen and Rowe come out.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget too that there was a story that known piece of shit Chris Jericho told, where when they brought
he still Todd Sopel's gimmick, or?
Yeah, well, he steals everyone's gimmick. Okay. He made a reference to the fact that when Gene Snitsky first appeared, and they said, and they said he's going by Gene Snitsky, and Jericho was like, okay, where'd you come up with that name? Well, that's his name, pal. It's like, yeah, but everybody that you've come up with different names for. Now all of a sudden we're calling John Cena, Gene Snitsky. Everyone gets their real names, and then he went back to having everyone have fake names again. So
yeah, for a while everybody was using their real names. Yeah. He's an old senile crazy fuck. He really is. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Years ago, when he was doing weird shit,
he's always doing weird shit. But
one quick thing, Superstar Shakeup related, because you mentioned it, Troy, that Braun maybe should have gone to SmackDown. From what I've read originally, that was the plan. And when they changed their mind on Braun moving, that's when they changed their mind on Lars and put him on SmackDown because they didn't want the two of them on the same brand because they're too similar.
Right.
So that was why originally Lars was labeled as a Raw superstar and then changed to SmackDown. It was because they changed their mind on moving Braun.
So
And why run the program with him and Joe the week before?
John says Jericho's also currently stealing Yokozuna's gimmick.
So
Nice.
I saw this tweet that somebody tweeted at Lars Sullivan. It said, "Are you the baby that Gene Snitsky punted?"
kicked it.
Fucking
Absolutely.
lost it.
He absolutely is.
Oh God.
And I will say, and I mentioned this, I mentioned this in the host thread, and Troy brought it up on Revisit. It was incredibly refreshing to see Finn Balor hit the coup de grace without hearing the phrase "drop zone." Like, oh my God, it's so much nicer on SmackDown.
He
But
said
I
that
feel
drop
Tom
zone.
almost said it, like when he was, because Corey said something like, "Oh, look what position he's in," and I thought Tom was about to say it, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, he's gonna
that's
do it."
because
Isn't he?
Corey's used to setting it up for the fucking
For
walking
Cole, yeah, that's true.
marketing machine there.
God damn.
All right.
The barbarian of branding, Michael Cole.
So that's
See the Barbarians. That would have been better. Anyway.
Isn't it? Well,
There's already a team called the Barbarians.
Yeah, like 30 years ago. All right, whatever.
no, that was one guy. He was part of the war. He was the warlord and the barbarian, the powers of pain.
Also, the Barbarian and Ming, they were the faces of fear. But anyway.
Right? Neither one was called the Barbarians for the team name.
Jason,
Yes, Troy.
what's going on down in Beverly, Massachusetts there?
Well, what's going on is that Pro Wrestling returns to Beverly, Massachusetts as Elk Mania kicks off its 2019 event series on April 27th for What's Up, Danger? I don't know if Danger is an individual or if they're just like. In the main event, Ring of Honor's Tough Guy Inc., Brutal Bob Evans, and Tough Tim Hughes. You've watched a lot of Ring of Honor. Have you seen that team on Ring of Honor anytime recently?
No, I don't know. I don't recognize either.
I mean, I know
people.
Bob. I know Bob, but he hasn't been on Ring of Honor TV in quite a while.
I feel like I would remember somebody named Tough Tim. There would definitely be jokes made about a guy named Tough Tim. So no.
Anyway,
I have never.
they will be
I've never
defending
seen
the
those
Net
guys.
3 tag team titles against the Middlesex Express, Stephen Broad and Stephen Lust. I'm assuming with Chad Epic, as Chad Epic doesn't go anywhere without those guys. I'm not going to read. Yeah, I'm not going to read the fucking storyline behind it. You can check out their pay-per-view if you want to. Their fucking website or whatever if you want to follow the storylines.
This guy's
Reserved
an
front row
entire
seats
page.
I know. Reserved front row seats are $15 online only. Advanced general admission tickets are $10 when purchased online and at Silver Moon Comics Collectibles in Salem, Mass, or the Paper Asylum in Beverly, Mass. They are $12 general admission tickets that will be on sale at the door. Why did we do the rest of the card after the fucking ticket price? You need to start editing this shit, Adam. Stop just copying and pasting. Jesus Christ. Also on the card, Faithpay Gold is on the line when current champion Derek Conway defends against the Mainstay Posse's Alexander Lee. One of Elkmania's most popular wrestlers, Insane Dick Lane, will defend the All-Star Championship against the masshole Mike McCarthy. So there's a good chance you're going to have a dick versus a masshole.
Yeah.
Sorry. Elkmania is considered
Oh,
to be...
please, somebody record some of the commentary for that because I want to hear things like Dick getting on top of masshole. really laying it into masshole there.
Like pounding
He's
them
gonna
out.
bend.
Dick just getting that penetration on masshole.
Showing no mercy to the masshole tonight.
Oh, gosh. Dick came right
Jesus.
over the top of masshole there. Continue.
Poked him in the eye.
He's got that abdominal. He's really stretching out the masshole here.
Oh shit.
Oh God, Elkman. Derek Simonetti. However, can he stop the rampage of Wildman Congo, who wants to turn Simonetti's house into his own concrete jungle? That is quite. Derek Simonetti's taking on Wild Man Congo in this event. Okay?
Exactly.
He's going to level a dude's house? Is that what that is? Like, he's going to get into a cat earth mover and level a guy's house.
Derek Simonetti will take his property by eminent domain. Oh, this event is a
This is why we
fundraiser.
stopped doing RCCW, alright? Like,
This event is a fundraiser for LifeBridge North Shore. LifeBridge's mission is to end the crisis of homelessness. And again,
take time at Derek Simonetti's house.
all this and so much more going down in Beverly, Mass. On April 27th. This was the last time we're going to read this way because we're going to edit the shit out of this for next week's read.
It's going to be like
Sal!
four matches.
That was a fucking copy and paste job and a half. Thanks, Adam.
Jesus Christ. Editing, people. Editing. Come on.
Saturday, May 18th, Brew City Wrestling presents Retribution from the Elks Lodge 400 in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Ringside tickets are $20, 18 advance on BrewCityWrestling1.com. Doors open at 6:45. Bell time is 7:30. See Swoggle, as well as ROH stars, the Bouncers, plus the stars of Brew City Wrestling Live. Matches to be announced soon.
Come see Ring of Honor as they gentrify the neighborhood of Bear Country. There.
Ginger?
Lucky Pro Wrestling presents Stampede Mayhem on Saturday, May 18th at the Wendell P. Clark Memorial YMCA, 155 Central Street in Winchendon? Is that how you pronounce it? Winchendon? Mass?
It's Winchendon.
Yes, it's Winchendon.
Winchendon. Yeah, whatever. Winchendon, Mass. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Live wrestling at 7:30 p.m. Tickets for this event are just $15. On the website, www.luckyprowrestling.com/Wichita HTML.
Oh, you fucking said .html, you asshole.
Main event tag team action: LPW champion Vern Vicalo and Royce Bishop with Danica versus the WWE legend Mr. Hughes and Kellen Thomas.
You were throwing around the word legend very liberally here, I think.
Okay, I'm just reading it, man.
Given the last cut and paste that Adam did, I sort of expected us to say it was just last month that Vern Vicalo was in the break room getting a cup of coffee when Kellen Thomas walked in and tripped over his foot. A complaint was filed with HR, and the only way they can settle it is in a light tube fuckery match.
You think this is about coffee?
So, oh, Jesus Christ.
Continue.
Proceeds help fund the Clark YMCA's Building Brighter Futures annual campaign. Scheduled to appear, LPW Women's Champion Adira, Impact Wrestling's Alicia Edwards, Shay Cash.
Alicia. Every fucking
Alicia.
time, people. It's Alicia. We call her Lish. That's her fucking nickname.
Hey.
It's Alicia.
Hey. Impact Wrestling's Alicia Edwards. Shay Cash.
Bring her to APW because she'll kick you in the balls for that.
I think she is actually booked at the next one, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I cannot confirm.
Yeah.
Sweatboy Christopher James, Dan Terry, Isana, Ronnie Ribbs, Ava Everett. More.
Right, there's no reason to be fucking that one up. That one's easy.
Well, if you shut the fuck up and let me read it.
More fun when you're at it.
Stampede Battle Royal, with the winner receiving the Wichita Cup and a Hard Knocks title match at LPW Fall Frenzy on Saturday night, September 14th at the Clinton, Mass. Elks Hall.
Sunday, August 18th, ICW presents Insane 8 Deathmatch Tournament 2019 from the La Pinka Lounge. A 1 p.m. bell time with a 12:30 door open. The Insane 8 VIP show meet and greet, 3 p.m., 4 bonus matches, plus autographs and pics with the entire Insane 8 wrestler roster before they all get put into caskets. Insane 8 Deathmatch Tournament begins at 4:20. Already announced, the Insane 8 themselves, along with the Drunken Master of Ceremonies, the Necro Butcher. The 2018...
Is he having pizza with people this time?
No, So yet again, the ICW alternative title will be defended in this tournament. The 8 participants are 2018 Insane 8 winner Oren Veit, Schlack, Marcus Crane, Matt Tremont, Alex Colon, Dan O'Hare, Jimmy Lloyd, and Nick fucking Gage. Sorry.
Is that the guy that tried to kill, what's this fuck there?
Former WCW champion. I forget
Yeah.
his name. David Arquette.
Yes.
Probably. The first round stipulation will be a fans bring the weapons, everything the sick ICW fans bring. A door.
It says build.
Build.
Do they have to actually build it? Is like,
Maybe. I don't know.
it has to be that like woodworking class?
Well, considering the rest of these matches, Doors of Death, 4 doors, gusset plate, barbed wire, light tubes, and cheese graters. Barbed Wire Madness, bats, boards, and chairs. Frozen Tundra, 4 corners of glass, dry ice with different kinds of glass in each corner. The second round will be a TLCT, a tax, ladders, chairs, and tubes match. A Legos electrified tubes match. And the finals is a no rope barbed wire ultimate insanity match, where something from every match in the night will be added into Ultimate Insanity.
So I'm guaranteed to see Lego.
Can you imagine, like, you're the guy that loses the Legos / electrified tubes match, and you go up to the promoter afterwards, and he's like, I'm sorry, pal, the house was a little light. I'm gonna go.
Hot dog and a handshake tonight, guys.
I just feel for the janitorial staff.
Seriously.
Oh my
Like
God.
not only do you have to clean up Legos and shards of glass, but you have to clean up what I assume is numerous inexplicable body parts and blood.
I was
Like,
going to say and fluid.
And semen, I'd imagine.
I'm sure. Oren Veit seems like the type who would come as soon as he gashes somebody's throat open.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, that does it for the rundown for this Thursday, April 18th, 2019. You can rate us, which has not happened in 2 years. So go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, go to wherever the fuck you can find us and rate us 5 stars or whatever the fuck you want to do, and we will read your reviews on air. You can leave a comment on our post here on rundownwrestling.com, and we will read that shit too. You can follow us on Twitter at Rundown Network. You can like us on Facebook. Yes. Oh, you're just looking for it. Facebook.com/Rundown Wrestling. Email the show your dick pics via rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Instagram.com/Rundown Wrestling. YouTube.com/Rundown Wrestling. We've had up to, I think, 7 people watching tonight live. I'm not sure how many we're watching through the website as well, but every Thursday we go live on YouTube now. We bring that gimmick back. Leave us a voicemail at 617-863-6967. That's 61 Rundown 7. We are also on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/Rundown Wrestling to become a Patreon. This week, we had a brand new show, Takeover Salvation, where Sal is reviewing every single takeover, starting with the ones that aren't called Takeover. So, Sal, tell us a little bit more about your brand new Patreon exclusive show.
So yeah, episode 1 dropped yesterday. It was covering
On
NXT
Anchor.
Arrival. It was covering NXT Arrival. Hey, I told you, Anchor pays pretty good. A hot
No.
dog, a handy, and
No,
a
they
pitch
don't.
poster of Mandy.
They don't pay anything.
So I took on NXT Arrival, and it's going to be a Patreon series. So if you donate, you will be able to have access to that series, and we'll hit up the takeover that's after Arrival, which I think is actually called Takeover.
You're wrong. Listen to our friends at Kingpin Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with
We gotta change that. That's the Brawler, Brian Malonis.
the Brawler, Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with new podcasts every Monday. Go to facebook.com/thewpn or thewpn.com. Check out our website, rundownwrestling.com, for information on all of our great shows, such as Electromania Podcast, Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, Making the Great, NXT Revisited, and WrestleMania Salvation. What are you laughing about?
I don't know. Apparently, Sal thinks I can't look at the fucking screen while he's doing shit.
I can see you doing shit on the screen too, asshole.
Check out our friend Justin Michaels on his show Yes on Waltz. Go to yesonwaltz.com or watch it on your Roku through the RNTV app or the 24/7 Retro app. And follow our hosts on Twitter at JStewart920, at Rockstar Troy, at WrestleMania Sal.
It's actually WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania, Sal.
No, it's WrestleMania Sal.
Not what it says.
Because you fucking changed it!
Okay, well, I'm not seeing that because I have an archived copy on my thing, so.
It's Anchormania, Sal.
Okay, Anchorman Sal, Realist Tommy, Johnny Analog, Ginger19876, and Hurry Up Cruiser. Thanks to everyone for listening.
You know, if you're not reading these changes we make, it sort of screws up the whole gimmick we got going.
Oh, I wasn't. I don't. I thought it was going to update on my tablet, and it hasn't been doing that. So clearly, I don't.
You know, I go through all the effort to throw porn star Twitter handles on here for you, Troy, and you don't even fucking read them. I feel like
Tonight's a pretty good one. She's one of my faves.
right.
Well,
Go ahead, Ginger, you read it.
Why don't you go ahead and read it?
At Riley Reed X3.
Actually, that is a very good one. Thanks to our patrons for showing up in the Smathers Lounge, Mike Smathers and John Fenrick. You guys did an awesome job tonight, kept us entertained, and kept things very light and fun in there. Thanks to Jason.
Thanks, Troy.
Sal.
Thanks, Troy.
Ginger.
Thanks, Troy.
Thanks to Jason for our theme song and for editing this shit. And thanks again to you, Sal, for your years of service to the Rundown. And good luck on your new Anchor podcast, Salvation Takeover.
No
Next
problem,
week,
hot sauce.
We continue to pleasure ourselves with pictures of beautiful women.
So I guess that means we'll see you next Thursday.
We will see your ass next time.
Holla, holla.
Bye-bye.
Hot sauce!
Okay, so I need to ask, what's this hot sauce gimmick? I just want to know the story. I will not call you hot sauce because I know you get pissed off about it. And I like being on this podcast.
I'm not pissed off about it. It's something Jason came up with. Because he looked at my picture and said that because I'm dressed as a wrestler in my picture, I needed to have a gimmick. So he chose the worst fucking name for a wrestler of all time.
Hot sauce. What the fuck?
It's Troy does occasionally does the Ring of Honor show.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a wrestler on there called Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
It doesn't fit his character.
And Troy takes great fucking offense and says it's a stupid nickname for a wrestler.
So you're a dick.
But that's why I made nicknames for all of you.
Such as Hitler did nothing wrong.
That was the only one that Adam actually requested. I don't know.
That should be his Twitter name when we read him.
There you go.
No, we cannot say that.
Why? He doesn't listen to the
Whoa,
episode anyways.
hold on. Did the guy who dropped a hard N on us last week just go Jesus when I said that?
Whoa! I didn't say that word. You assume.
No. He didn't drop it. He gently packaged it in discreet packaging, and just insinuated it to your doorstep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God.
Oh shit.
Thanks again, John and Smathers. You guys did an awesome job. So happy to have you guys on. But it is time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I gotta take my pants off.